Are they going to be comfortable in that or are they not? That is going to be a big question, ladies and gentlemen, because this is the last opportunity for these teams to move up into the grand finals. Their last chance to stand strong and face Extremely Slay again in that best of 7 series. But before that, they've got to cross this hurdle. It's the best of 5 lower bracket finals. Let's see which one of them will get the win. As in the draft of game number 1, boys, we go.
Thank you, thank you. And this is the lower bracket, everyone, and we are back here. I have messed up. I apologize, but I'm here. My name is Hockey. I have a laughing Kronos right here, and let's get straight into the game, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm pretty excited about this. I think this is one of the long-awaited matches that we wanted to see again. And there it is, This might be Light Cavalry's game. Now, the reason I'm saying this is because they are known for their lower bracket, right? They are known to play, or this is their game, the lower bracket. So will this change things up? What do you think here, Kronos?
I feel like it could change things up right now with the fact that Light Cavalry have the tendency to play around the macro. But come on, you're not playing against CNQ, you're playing against Birthright, who are also known for their macro with their micro plays. And I think the match from last night, the upper bracket finals, was the indicator for that entirely, of course. And I feel like that will be a big difference maker. But right now, that you can see the bans come out, it's got to be some standard bans. The Zushin, maybe the out of the ordinary. What we can look at is probably the Lu Yi and the Faramis, just to pay respects towards Malfurion's hero pool. Maybe a Sicilian to take out Danny's hero pool as well. But apart from that, I don't really see what can be, a ban that's kind of going left field. But the Hylos, though, we saw that yesterday, Hockey.
The Hylos
here. Whoever gets the Hylos gets the win, right?
Yeah, and make sure you gotta take out the Fanny as well. She's also a must ban in this competition. But now, as you guys can probably notice here for the side of Light Cavalry, we don't have Alan anymore. We have Creve instead. And do you think this might affect the team, or this will improve the team? Right? I mean, Creve is also a mid laner, but for this composition, they're going with Malfury on the mid lane and Creve on the roam. So, what's your opinion on this, Kronos?
I feel like Malfurion, if he gets his hands on a comfortable hero, Birthright are asking for trouble. I'm not sure about how the roam and mid lane combination will work out. I feel like that should be the most important thing that they'll be looking at. But at the same time, given the fact that they've got a lot of other heroes open, a lot of options are still left open, and that comes in the form of this Hilda, the Gatot Gacha, the Suyo, the Alpha, the Matilda's of course taken off the table. Do not want to give that whatsoever. The Fanny, though. The Fanny is the one that I'm looking at. The Bruno, respected. Like Cavalry realize that although they don't want to go for the first pick Bruno, they definitely don't want to give away those 2 power picks in turn. So I like that ban. Birthright right now should be looking at something else as well.
Birthright definitely probably looking at Fanny, but if that's not the case, I think they might be looking for a Faramis, or even looking for something that could be within Light Cavalry's comfort zone, right? And I'd say Fanny is probably the best probability here. But if that's not the case, I think they might as well go for a roam pick. Maybe a, I don't know, maybe Gato Kacha, since he's flexible. Maybe Hilda could be bannable here since she's also flexible. Maybe an Arlott as well. But no, looks like the Valentina instead. And we might have a Fanny on the first pick here. But it's gonna be the Suyo instead.
I like the Suyo. You play for the Snowball. Although it's a very snowbally hero, it can be countered early on. You got to make sure you get that control in the mid lane. You could get it in the form of the Vexana, the Aurora, and then you can shut down the Suyo entirely. But right now, I feel like Birthright got to go for a simple answer. So it should come in the form of that Sicilian for Danny. That's not going to be a strange pick, to be honest. But right now, they go for a front line in the form of this Phoveus for My Lobby. And My Lobby has been setting the pace for this team entirely. If he's the one that kind of gets going early on, is able to create the separation, get into the back line, or even start or initiate these team fights like an EXP laner should. And these are the basics that an EXP laner should have. It's just that he doesn't do any crazy plays, but his basics are so strong that it has to be respected in the game. And that's why he demands attention. And that's why you could say Extremely Slay. That's what they did in the previous series. to put them in the lower bracket. So now will Light Cavalry learn and pick up from that? Only a matter of time. However, they go for the Ling and the instant reply hockey, the Hilda.
The Hilda and the Chip. And we've seen the Hilda, the Chip together, and it didn't go so well last time. But maybe Light Cavalry here, we've known their playstyle, they're able to go in for the push here and there, so I think they are looking for something different with this composition, right? On the other side though, about my lobby, give him anything that basically does a setup or anything that goes in for a plane. This man got you for life, right? This man is an insane coding explainer here. Anything that basically can make a play, right? And they gotta watch out for that. They gotta find a way to neutralize it, because if they don't have a way, not only for my lobby but for Danny as well, I think they might be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, they might be in a lot of trouble. I like the Chip. I like the Hilda. A lot of dive coming in, a lot of map control, a lot of mobility, regen. It looks like it's going Light Cavalry's way so far, and we know how they like to play that split push, that famous Filipino banana split that comes by. They're doing it in the form of this Chip, usually with the Hayabusa. But right now, to give a reply to the Ling, they pick up this Chip, which was let through. We haven't seen the Chip come out quite a lot just because of the nerfs he got with. But right now, I feel like they got to prioritize Danny. Give him that Sicilian that he's been doing really well with at the moment. And I feel like, the Sicilian should work wonders, if I'm not wrong. Just give Danny what he wants.
I guess so, but looks like Danny prefers here the Aurora instead, and I feel like that is a really good pick to poke only not on a Chip, but on the Hilda as well. I think it's quite a fair pick, and there is a fair mistake in out. Knowing that the Valentina is banned, you don't want to really give that away, and looks like an instant reply to the Heart. I think we're gonna see like from Mage to Gold Lane focus bans here, right? Maybe another. I mean, they have a lot of mages banned here. Almost every. Maybe Vixana is the last mage on the table here to be banned. Maybe a Farsa, right? And for the side of Light Cavalry, if they want to ban a marksman, I think they prefer go for Beatrix here, since Beatrix or 1-1. We've seen 1-1 several times here, and she's been a huge threat every time she's appeared. So that could be also next ban for the side of Light Cavalry.
I think the next few picks should be a good one. You're right, for the side of Light Cavalry. They're choking down the goal lane slowly. I'm surprised Malfurion's Faramis was let through for such a long time, especially after the Valentina ban. They were baiting it out, right? They were really baiting it out. I think Light Cavalry understood that that's not the play that they should go for, realized it, but now you can see they ban out the Tigreal that can form a front line as well as a backline protector, engage counter initiation. So they go for the Beatrix. It's been doing well so far in the goal lane. I think one of the top goal laners apart from the Bruno in this current meta, especially throughout this entire tournament. But on the other side, they go for the Moskov. Not really sure. Only 3 games being picked up, 67% win rate. So that's what, 2 wins, if I'm not wrong, out of 3.
Yeah,
so will this be the 4th one?
I mean, Moskov, once again, is in my opinion, is a really good gold laner. He's able to out-rotate if he's able to get that Spear of Destruction, and even if it goes well for him after the fight, he can go for an opposite lane push, and is also a really good split pushing hero, right? So I think they do want to go with that Moskov paired with a Chip, just in case the Moskov isn't able to make him in time. They always have the Chip to bring him on to here with the team fight. But now looking at the composition here, I feel like for the side of Light Cavalry, they don't really have that much AoE except for like a Chip ult immobilize and a Sicilian pull in. So maybe they're trying to not only focus on the objective side of the game, but maybe I think they're just going in for pick-off type drafts.
I think the pick-off should come through. If they have a Cho right now, it will work wonders. Right? I feel like the Cho does the... Oh my goodness, they pull that out again. It's the Belleric. We seen Alan pull this off earlier, but I feel like right now in the hands of my lobby, or rather Mark. It could be a difference maker just to counter this chip along with the Moskov. I'm questioning this a little bit, Hockey, but I feel like they do have the late game skilling from the side of Light Cavalry, and Birthright definitely have the split push available with them. But it's gonna be a lot of havoc, a lot of chaos in the Land of Dawn when these team fights are there, especially for these neutral objectives.
I agree with you here. I think it is actually a for Moscow, right? You're able to neutralize the gold lane in the middle of team fights, but once again, I don't think they're looking forward for the team fights. I think their main focus here is gonna be Leandro applying as much pressure as possible, just to give VN or not VN, just to give them the chance, you know, to get that split push in, right? So once again, this is gonna be such a contested match. You have one team who's trying to play objectively, and the other team is trying to win by force. You're having the Ling here, the Beatrix here, the Beleric here. They're trying to go for as much aggression as possible. So it might come to execution. This is a matter of execution between these two teams.
It is a matter of execution indeed, Hockey, but I feel like right now, who you got for the victory? I think it's going to be Birthright, although I do feel like the Sicilian might be a big threat along with the chip. But at the same time, Light Cavalry will be looking to take down this Beleric as soon as possible, neutralize the threats that come in from the Wrath of the Dryads. And at the moment, before it starts up, Hockey, tell me your prediction and take us into the game.
Predictions are gonna be... I'm going for Light Cavalry here. I think if they're able to execute that split pushing comp, the banana split you talk about, I think they're able to pull it off here with the victory. Maybe they could steal a game or two, right? And I do like their draft since it's so pick off. Like you said, if there was a Cho instead of the Hilda here or instead of the chip, I think that would work wonders. But once again, we've seen the Hilda and the chip didn't really go that well, so maybe this time, Light Cavalry could cook up something. Maybe they know how to execute such draft, right? Birthright on the other side, I also like their draft a lot. They have such an aggressive draft here. It's honestly dangerous to play against, but right now, ladies and gentlemen, we are over here with match 1, game number 1, and I am more than excited to cast this alongside one of the best casters I know of right now, Kronos, and looks like Vienna is already going aggressive with 3.
Yeah, Vian already going aggressive as a Hilda should be in Hockey right now. Creve is there trying to create some space. And if I'm not wrong, did they just switch up Creve before somebody else? I got to take a look at my data. But at the same time, you can see, oops.
Oh, the Vitalize, and looks like Creve might be in trouble as Mark is going into the taunt, and there it is, the first blood going in for Danny, and that's just an early game already. This is a before minute 1 pick off here, and I think they're looking for more, right? They know they took that Revitalize. I think they're going to try to apply as much pressure as possible on Creve here now.
Yeah, I think at the moment they are trying to get pressure on towards Creve just because he is the Gatukacha. He's going to be a problem, hits the level 4 power spike. So slow him down as much as you can. Get that CC going, prevent the invades because you want to give this Ling free time to farm up. And the more free he gets in the early game, the more monstrous he's going to be in the late game. You can see how Hilda right now, VN, already controlling the top side of the river for the side of Light Cavalry. And there's no response coming in from my lobby at the moment. And that's why they're trying to go in, take down these EXP laners while the junglers hit that level 4 power spike, and this could seem like a brawl that's going to break out.
Looks like the brawl's coming in, and Leva may be in trouble. Gets the Tempest Blade just in time. He's trying to go for VM, but that is a really close fight. Looks like my lobby with a vengeance under Vitalize coming in from Mark, just healing him in time. But look at Leandro trying to go for Levi, but fails to catch. So as the Tempest of Blades just gets him out just in time, and looks like the side of Birthright is going the way they wanted it to go.
Yeah, they got first blood. They got the 2 in the top lane as well. I think Leandro did a fantastic job trying to get it, but oh my goodness.
They're looking for more, and Vian barely... Oh, never mind, Mark here with the pass of the Beleric himself. Just catching Vian here, saying, nope, you're not gonna go. Not even the bushes, because I am also one of those bushes, and it's the Beleric himself, ladies and gentlemen. He knows his way around this. He has Wrath of the periods, and I think he's waiting to pull it off here on Creve just in case he tries. And there it is. Revitalize coming through from Creve, trying to survive as much as possible. The Retro coming in from Liga and the kill as well. Levi, and there's the Tempest of Blades. Leandro in trouble, trying to go for escape here, but there it is caught by the one and only Levi on the lane, and it doesn't look so good, ladies and gentlemen, for the side of Light Cavalry.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Light Cavalry indeed. They did get one kill, and that was a Mark, but he did his job. He's a Belleric. His skill set literally means you got to hit him and take him down, and that's what happened. But of course, at the same time, Birthright making some macro moves around the map, realizing when they got to go in and when not to. They understand what is an overextension and what is not. So the fact that Levi is waiting to pop the Tempest of Blades until the very last second goes to show that how much mastery he has on this hero and how much they trust in their teammates to get the right communication coming out at the right time. As you can see right now, he's building in towards the Berserker's Fury, and Leandro wants to get that Hunter Strike to get those power spikes, and then it's going to be a big brawl that's going on. However, on the top side, my lobby already has his hands on that Thunderbelt, so he'll be tanking up and soaking up a lot of damage. He's trying to poke down the Hilda quite a lot. Hilda's still not there just yet. And I think it all came down to the difference with the assist that he racked up early on. Six kills to 1 kill score. That would be the problem right now. You can see, again, they are dominating the top half of the map. But meanwhile, the bot side hockey, 1v1 might break out. But here, Mark wants to invade.
Oh, Mark is trying to look for an invade here right over there just to stop Creeve, trying to pick him up here instead of the buff, but looks like Levi is looking for more. He has the Tempest of Blades, waiting to use it, and there it is, the Frigid Glacier coming in from Danny's Flicker just in time, just to not get caught by Malfury, and there it is, Reborn Teasy coming through. He just taking a kill on Levi here, that Spear of Destruction coming through, and Vian is not letting Danny go. He knows he doesn't have the Flicker, but on the backup, Uruk is there with the Flicker, trying to stop Vian, and there it is with my lobby on the other side, going on a rampage with that demonic force, but is finally taking down over here before he gets a shutdown on him, and there it is. That's just an aggressive brawl overall between two teams, but I mean, general opinion, I think for the side of Light Cavalry, they may or may not have benefited more to that than Birthright, since they were already so behind.
Yeah, I think at that, even my lobby wasn't going to go down unless and until he hit that Soul Sever. That missing HP damage that it deals was enough to take him down because he was soaking up quite a lot. He get the shield every single time he goes for the Infernal Pursuit along with the Dark Wave, which made the difference in the ski right now. They're trying to get this turtle started. Leandro wants to get it going, but at the same time, Creeve and Mark want to get the brawl going.
He don't want to go the barrel going over here as my lobby is applying as much pressure as he can with that demonic force. He knows he has it. He knows he can go in the dress of there. It's coming through the red free, coming from Levi, and there it is, the AOG coming through, but the Tempest of Blade, and unfortunately it shut down. The Spirit of Destruction hits, but he knows, Reborn TZ knows there's not gonna be any victories on this fight. Instead, he prefers the tower, and that's the thing about Light Cavalry. Even though they look like they're losing badly, they still find ways to trade, and I think that might be enough to at least make them last longer before another chaos happens.
Oh my goodness, it was quite a lot, right? But still, Urek managed to trade the bot side tier 1 tower, make sure that it is there for their taken. But at the moment, I feel like Light Cavalry are searching for answers and they're grasping at straws. 3,000 behind in gold. And it's all thanks to that early macro plays that comes in. They're layering the skills side of Birthright, which Light Cavalry haven't done successfully so far. And all thanks to the Wrath of the Dryads from Mark to take away the attention of the entire team, especially the front line, which is Vian and Creeve, and not giving the opening that Malfurion needs to dish out the damage. And neither does Leandro. But right now, they see the top side hockey.
Oh, they're looking in for Reborn TZ. They're looking to make Uruk have as much space as possible, right? In my opinion here, Uruk is having fun on the gold lane, pushing the bot lane, pushing the top lane. He's looking forward for that mid lane as well, I bet it, right? So they are making space. Birthright, they know Uruk needs that much space on the Beatrix to start pulling off stuff, start being a threat, right? And Beatrix definitely needs as much space as she needs. But there's a flicker coming into the Frigid Glacier, but unfortunately doesn't hit anyone. Danny super close. There is Leandro's looking for something, and there it is. My lobby is going into demonic force on Reborn TZ, but there is power vulnerers on Vian trying to stop my lobby, and looks like he's still looking for more. I mean, he's not phased one bit. He has the demonic force. He has his team behind him, and there it is, still looking for more pulls in Vian, but it looks like Vian's gonna get out in time as Mark swooped in. Half poke, there is a Soul Silver coming through from Leandro, but doesn't phase Mark one bit as he heals back from the jungle creep. And it looks like the objective's coming up, and judging from positioning from that fight alone, I don't think Light Cavalry do want to risk fight without. At least they gotta land that AOG in order for them to fight. But at the same time, they also gotta watch out for that Tempest of Blades.
Yeah, they do need to watch out for the Tempest of Blades because every time he uses it, there is a knockup that is provided, and that is enough space for them to dish out the damage and also get the CC going on towards him. And I think Danny's the one that actually gets it going for them, right? He's the one controlling the scene push right now. Tempest.
Ooh, Tempest is looking for something, but look at this, My Lobby and Levi. They're looking for a kill, and they pick off what they need here. Reborn as he tries to push instead of going here for the objective, and that is pretty well played. They know that they're gonna split push a lot. I mean, that's what you have the Moscow for, right? This is a Moscow. He always split pushes and then comes to a team fight. But if you're able to neutralize that, I think you might put Light Cavalry not only on the spot but also under their inhibitors in no time. So they gotta now start watching out. They gotta start thinking like, hey, we need to farm up a bit. You know, we have Malfury here on the Sicilian. We can scale, but we just gotta make sure that we are also up to bar to what they have, right? Since they're not as team fighty in terms of draft, and there's the Spear of Destruction, but almost, you know, that was not quite close, but it was there, right? And once again, you can see Reborn TZ is trying to look here for the push, but they gotta figure out something now before they just sit like sitting ducks here under the inhibitors.
Yeah, I think at the moment, the plan of Birthright is quite simple, right? Play disciplined, play to your win condition, play to your strengths. Make sure it's quick games, it's fast, because we got to play a best of 7 if we're going to make it all the way to the finals. And that's what they're thinking. And that's why you can see right now they don't want to overextend. They don't want to give any sort of advantage to the side of Light Cavalry, who are looking for that, right? They are looking for the opening, but they're not able to find it because the discipline from the side of Birthright is quite impeccable. And you can see right now on the top side, even Levi trying to get the split push going, Creve and Reborn trying to protect each other, making sure the Lord is in the bot side. It's looking quite healthy. It's not an inhibitor. It's not a Luminous Lord, but they do get the tier 2, and they'll be looking to take up the rest of the tier 2s. My Lobby creating the space along with Mark for the side of Birthright, and this is the penetration that they're looking for on the bot side.
Yeah, they are looking for that penetration, but looks like they're gonna be clearing that Lord with so easy, right? Since it's not Luminous Lord, I don't think it's that much of a threat, especially when you have a Sicilian on your team. He's one of the best mage clears in the game, right? As a mage, and his distance alone is enough to just push a whole team back during a fight. But right now, Greaves is looking for something, almost gets picked off here, but escapes just time here from Mark, and it looks like My Lobby is trying to look for a push here, but unfortunately the clear coming in from Leandro and Malfury here is just more than enough to just delete the minion wave.
Yeah, it is more than enough, right? And I think you're right when it comes to the high ground clear in the base defense. The Sicilian is one of the best. Why? Because it is a hero that lacks the mana pool. That's the only difference between him one-shotting the opponent and you trying to dish out the damage. So I think the mana pool being close to the fountain can be restored every single time, and that would make a big difference, especially in these base defenses. So you don't want to overextend, especially when Malfurion has not died a single time. Yes, they're behind about like 8k in gold, which is quite a lot in my opinion, but at the same time, if the Sicilian is given too much leeway, he will destroy your front line. And you can see right now they're going to engage Hockey.
You're going in, the Vengeance coming in with a lot of demonic forces. My Lobby, but Levi on the other hand, the Tempest of Blade looking for Leandro, taking him out alongside Danny, but the AUG only lands on Mark, and there's a flicker with the Frigid Glacier trying to go for more. Crave in trouble, taken out by Mark, and they're still looking for more here as they're trying to push, group push, but they know they have Reborn TZ and Malfury. They know that pushing is really difficult right now, and if they want to manage that, they need to neutralize Malfury here on the spot, and they're looking for that as they try to zone out Levi, going in for the push, and excellent zoning coming in from My Lobby here. He knows he can push them back alongside Mark, but now can he go back after pushing back as they're going in with the Demonic Force, but Malfury gets the kill, trading 1-for-1 as Ian goes down as well. And I think for the side of Birthright, they're looking forward for that Luminous Lord and then end right after, right? And for the side of Light Cavalry, it's not looking so fun. All they can do is defend and defend and defend, but when will they ever try to fight back and win something? That's the thing, it's gonna be so super difficult for them, especially from how behind they are, about 9k here.
Yeah, I think they are definitely behind quite a lot, but Levi on towards Leandro.
Oh, looking for more, but looks like Creve almost gets Levi here, but he just dashes in time, you know, super swift on that Ling. And now it looks like the Luminous Lord might fall into the hands of Birthright, unless we see some steal coming in from Leandro, but I don't think he's gonna attempt that. But do you think the defense here is enough from the side of Light Cavalry here to try to clear that Lord safely?
Yeah, I think they don't really have it in them, do they? They need to pick off someone or at least get that Lord, the Luminous Lord, into the bottom tier inhibitor aggro so that they will be able to sustain for quite a long time and have enough space created for Reborn and Malfurion to try and dish out the damage towards the Lord. And I think can find V and should be the ultimate sacrifice right now. But right, they are going in, trying to get the kill
They're
early.
going
Hockey.
in, and Reborn TZ is just taken out in an instant here by Danny. And ARG coming in from the back, Creed trying to go, but the Tempest of Blades once again excellent here from Levi, getting out just in time, but it looks like they're just losing, dying one after another, and they're just Creeve down. Next up is Leandro, next up might be Malfury as we speak with the flicker in the base, and he knows he can't really do much as game number 1 falls into the hands of Birthright. What a game.
Oh, it was.
Hey, I'm not making it up. It had me got out of my seat entirely to watch this game and see the result that eventually came out. Like, man, oh man. Whenever you talk about these two teams, you know, the only one thing that always comes to your mind, and that is back and forth. We rarely see one of these teams dominate, but guess what? I believe today is one of those rare occasions we are seeing that happen, Hockey.
Yeah, it's such a rare occasion. I mean, both drafts look good, but once again, we've called it that Light Cavalry's draft is more of a single target, you know, a pick-off draft against a team fight. And Birthright, they know they need to be that aggressive. They know they need to take that constant amount of fighting, and so disciplined with it as well that it was able to not only ruin the split push tactic and the pick-off they're going for, but at the same time just push them back into the bases and eventually end with the upcoming objective.
True. And that's one of the main things, right? I think so. The idea of Light Cavalry entirely in the first draft was they probably did their homework. They saw what really Birthright want to pick in all of those games yesterday. In the case of Extremely Slay, right? They picked Sicilian every single time. So this time Light Cavalry definitely did deny that, but they did not anticipate that Danny's Aurora is even better, right? And I think so he should be the MVP in this game. I'll have a look at who the actual MVP is, but I think so he was one of the main guy.
Yeah, there he is, the man himself, the pride of ice himself. There it is, Danny on the Aurora.
What about you, Kronos? I mean, I think so. This is very well deserved MVP from the man. He always stopped any possibility of any dive that came in from Light Cavalry.
I mean, of course, he did stop the dive coming in from the opposition, which is like cavalry, and that's because the kit that Aurora possesses, right? I think in the hands of any good mid laner, that would be the story. But what happened with Danny is just that not only did he prevent the dive, he was controlling these team fights to the extent where he was even willing to flicker forward Frigid Glacier with the Frosty Breeze to catch them frozen in their boots and not able to move at all. And his positioning was so impeccable. And this is what I'm talking about. Being an aggressive Aurora means you're already ahead. Aurora is a very defensive hero, and making sure you get on the front foot, that is the next level confidence boost for your team. And that's what they did for the side of Birthright. And you can see how disciplined they were and controlling these team fights that he took and carried his team to victory. Of course, you can see the 5-0-10 KDA in 19 kills. If I'm not wrong, that's like about 90% kill participation. And if there's any other better way to say that he is a superior mid laner compared to Malfurion, I'm not sure. Only time will tell when the series comes to an end.
I agree, because even if you look at Malfurion, he went in 1-0-3 on the Sicilian. The only thing is that I'm not quite sure about the Sky Piercer early on. Though I don't really disagree with that. If in case you're playing your game, you feel like it, you think so you can actually carry him forward, sure, go ahead with the Sky Piercer. You can get a few kills, plus if your team is already behind Hockey, I think so building the cheap items is the way to go. So I think so that was his idea, since he already has 30% team fight damage total dealt by his team.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you know, the thing about building Sky Piercer, even if you're behind, right? Even if you know that you're not gonna get that much of a kill, I think the base stats or the benefits of the Sky Piercer alongside of how much gold it just costs, I think it's worth building. You get that movement speed. This is something you definitely need about Sicilian. Is these two core? It's not really a core item. It's like a semi-core item for Sicilian, but at the same time, you also have the Blood Wings, right? That goes really well, and he knows he needs a lot of movement speed alongside his
True.
bat's feast, right? So it kind of helps the Sicilian to navigate his way around quicker, have that safer positioning, able to go back faster than most. So it definitely helps since he doesn't have any blink skills apart from his flicker.
I agree. But there's one thing that I really did not like, or you could say did not pan out really well in this entire lineup, was the fact that Reborn TZ was playing a Moskov. I mean, let's be honest, in terms of the range, Moskov gets outranged very quickly. You can't really make a Malefic gun on it to try and use that passive. And also at the same time, let's be honest, there's a Belleric on the other side, and that too with a Vengeance. What's worse than a Flicker Belleric? A Vengeance Belleric Kronos.
Yeah. The Belleric was the last pick indeed, so I wouldn't blame Reborn TZ, but I know the Moscow was not the best choice here, but not the best option to go against a Phoveus with a Vengeance nonetheless, to go 1v1 against a Beatrix in this current meta, also going head-to-head against an Aurora that likes to get, the closer you are, the more CC she can provide, just because of the fact that you will be definitely caught out in that Frigid Glacier. And not just that, I know you hate the Moscow scared. It's okay, you can go ham at it, but there is a reason why I would say that the Moscow did make sense, just because you're going against the Ling, which would kind of counteract that split push. They had the option for that, whatever. But at the same time, I just feel like it didn't really make sense to have this composition for the side of Light Cavalry. Although they did plan something, it's just the fact that Birthright's execution was so much better. And you can say that they were the better team in game number 1, by far.
I can't really deny that with the way how their entire macro and micro looked like. Plus, let's be honest, even yesterday, the team was absolutely insane against the likes of Extremely Slay, right? That game also went into the full 5th mapper. So, yeah, I kind of agree to the fact where Birthright, their macro and micro is a bit better. Time hockey. What could Light Cavalry now pull off their arsenal? Because Sicilian, they wanted to put the core around it, it did not work.
I don't think it was the Sicilian that was the problem. I think it was mainly around the draft and the composition, and especially when faced against Birthright. Birthright are known to have such an impactful playstyle against that counteracts actually Light Cavalry in a way, right? Light Cavalry trying to go for that objective playstyle and pushing on a split push, but once again, Birthright know that if they had applied enough force, enough pressure, they could take that away from them in an instant, right? So I think Light Cavalry need to pull out a different playstyle, need to adapt to something else that could catch up to Birthright, maybe something that could counteract them.
I think so. Maybe something along the lines of Hayabusa is something that they might really need at this point, because let's be honest, Leandro looks really insane on that Haya. Every single time, whenever we see him on that, it just looks like he's impeccable. So I think so. Maybe not the Suyu itself, but also could try and go in for a bit more comfort. Plus, at the same time, I don't really feel, yes, I agree with you, Hockey, that Sicilian wasn't really the problem. But it just comes down to the fact as to how you need to play around Sicilian. Light Cavalry's playstyle, it kind of does not revolve around that hero, let's be honest, Kronos.
Yes, I think the idea for having the Sicilian in this game was the fact that, like you mentioned, they want to revolve the entire game around in the core. But the one problem you have when you build a Sicilian is you want to get the early game kills. Like, you want to make sure you have the early lead at least. But this time around, he didn't get that. And the side of Birthright were like, you are like, just like what Joshi, or rather Mr. Dead told you yesterday in the interview, you think we really want to wait until like 30 minutes to go for a team fight? It's not going to happen. And they went at him from the start, and also didn't give Leandro the space that was needed. And all thanks to my lobby for kind of dominating the EXP side, even though he was going against the Hilda. They realized that's not the opening that they have to go for in the top side, because I think for the first 2-3 minutes, Hilda was kind of dominating the top half of the river. It just goes to show that Birthright are so good with their communication, are so good with their map awareness, are so good at understanding power spikes and, getting the right target, that Light Cavalry's only way to answer might have been a split push, which they tried, but unfortunately didn't work.
You could be a Suyu, but you can't really out-push a Ling on the other side, let's be honest. The dude can jump on the balls, literally.
Yeah.
So no matter how fast you've got your mobility, you can have both of the roaming passives of the emblems as well, you still would not be able to outpush a thing. So that's the strength that it also brings in on the table. So I agree, Birthright had their full draft calculated. They knew what they needed to do. Understanding not really fighting with the Hilda is the way to go in the early game. They have a Beatrix. Beatrix will be able to chip down a Hilda in the late game either way. So yeah, I understand that entire idea. But at the same time now, I know that I was the one who picked up Light Cavalry early on, that maybe it's going to be a 3-2 in their favor. But if this is going to be the case, maybe I think so. It might actually be Birthright winning out the entire series though. But I still feel Light Cavalry can actually make a comeback because we haven't really seen the Hayabusa being pulled out right now. It was the first game, Suyu coming into the play. Or, I kind of want to ask you, Hockey. Do you feel Leandro Suyu is as good as his Hayabusa?
I don't think. I think his Hayabusa is exceptional compared to his Suyu, right? His Hayabusa changes games. So I don't think his Suyu is as effective as his Hayabusa generally.
I get it. Because at the same time, if you really remember how extremely Slay won against Birthright, it was not entirely choking down the jungle or anything, right? They tried to take control of all the comfortable heroes of Urek. He was forced onto 1-1. Yes, he did perform really well in a couple of games, but even after that, then we saw him pick up a Nathan in the last game itself. So I think so maybe Light Cavalry could go on a similar route, but it totally depends on how deep really is the hero pool coming in for their own marksman, right? I mean, that's the most important part about it. Because in the mid lane, it's going to be again that same default-ish battle where both of them are going to clear the wave and then going to move forward. But I think so there are only a few picks that can actually make a difference. One of them is definitely Mathilda, which we normally see banned out. Second is definitely Leandro's Hayabusa. Kronos.
Yeah, they shouldn't be giving the Hayabusa. I think that's a good plan. Maybe let Danny dictate the pace of the game once again, but of course, for the side of Light Cavalry, they'll be looking to get their hands on the Hayabusa. They might want to make that trade and maybe prioritize a Beatrix as well, because we've been seeing, yes, no Hylos, no win, but at the same time, no Beatrix, no win is what we've been seeing as well, because Beatrix is a really good marksman, although it has a single target lock with the Nibiru, with the Wesker, which nobody uses, no Renner. We've been seeing a lot of Bennett and Nibiru, but the AoE damage that can be dished out is quite a lot. And if you're really in the back foot in the draft, just opt for the Tiger.
That's the best part about it, right? You can opt in a Tiger whenever you really feel like that. It's getting a bit icy. Let's pick up that one, Bastion up. His new skin is actually pretty good, though. I won't really lie about that. But Hockey, if you were to pick who's going to win this one game, who do you think will be? Is it going to be 2-0 Birthright, or will we see Light Cavalry make a comeback?
Well, Birthright is about consistency. I think they might take the next one, but if Light Cavalry do have a reply and they pull out the cards they have now, since this probably counts like a warm-up match, probably. But if that's not the case, I think Birthright might have this in the bag if they keep that consistency.
I kind of agree with you on the same point. I know, Kronos, what you're going to say, so it's going to be Birthright for you. I still feel Light Cavalry can make a comeback, but boys and girls, I know you're excited, so let's jump directly into the draft of Globe.
And just like that, Hockey is out of there.
Goodbye. We love him though. We love him. There.
Yeah, we do love him though. He came well prepared. He came. You guys got to realize that the entire MEE team has been putting a lot of work in to make sure the stream comes in as best as possible. Outreign the performance. Get it? Outreign the performance of Birthright Synergy and what they have in store. Their preparation with the fact that they have Coach Blackjack just good at putting good things into their ear, Hockey.
I mean, looks like for the side of listen, they've switched sides, okay? So this might be a completely different thing. Maybe the blue side might be the cursed side once again. But if that's not the case, I think Birthright could keep a 3-0 here, right? If Light Cavalry does not change things up.
I think they'll be looking to change things up. So far, the same bands coming out, the Zushin along with the Lu Yi being banned out for either side. Of course, respecting Malfurion's Lu Yi. Don't want to give that away. And they know what's up, Hockey. They know what's up. They don't want to give the Hayabusa. They've read into the pattern of Light Cavalry. And that's what one of the unfortunate scenes of having a shorter hero pool or playing the same composition again and again. That composition gets revealed and it gets banned out straight away. So right now, I like the fact that the Hayabusa is banned out already. It just goes to show that they came in prepared, and Light Cavalry also have done their preparation. They do not want to give my lobby that high lows. He is if correct me if I'm wrong, Hockey. I think throughout this entire competition, he has been the best high lows player in the EXP lane.
I agree with you. I mean, not only the best Hylos, he is potentially the best EXP laner we have seen this entire competition. Every time this man gets something he's comfortable on, maybe something that sets up, something that makes sure the team can do something with it, he's always there to provide the maximum potential. He's always there to make sure to pull off, even though it looks like simple, over here it's exceptional, right? So my lobby, definitely a big threat. I think he's one of the people that you shouldn't leave comfortable, because if you do that, you might put yourself in a pickle. But right now, look at the draft. We've seen the Matilda for the side of Birthright being picked here first, traded for not only Suyu, but the Hilda as well.
Yeah, I was just looking at the Hilda's win rate, right? 30% so far in the entire MESL. I don't know. I understand that it's a good hero. It works, but statistically
it's a bad charm.
It's not been working for teams. Yes, it's a good hero. Yes, the compositions could work out. You have a specific win condition that you got to play toward. But I feel like it's just unfortunate for the fact that no. What did they do?
Oh, look at this!
Hockey.
Look at this!
Before I could even finish. Oh no! What did they do?
No!
What did Light Cavalry do? Not again. They're running it back with the
Oh.
OBS in the hands of my lobby. Given Mark the Matilda, and you have an Alpha, so now you have a flying, circling eagle with the Spear of Alpha, that Infernal Pursuit that can come in with that Phobius as well. I think it's going to be a problem for side of Light Cavalry, and they better find some answers, and they better find them quick, because right now they have their jungler locked in. This Hilda will be in the EXP lane. Okay, I like this. I like it. The fact that they went for the Aurora means that they still have a fighting chance and try to control these team fights, but they left the Sicilian open still. So I'll be looking for a Sicilian ban that they ban out of Faramis nonetheless.
I mean, I think Faramis is a nice ban here, because if Faramis paired up with only Alpha and Matilda here, could be a more than threat to just constantly poke down the side of Light Cavalry, right? But leaving Matilda and Alpha, even though these two heroes separately don't have a 100% win rate here, together they do have more than 100% win rate here, and we've seen it time and time. The Matilda Alpha combo coming through, the Spear of Alpha with the Circling Eagle, just been unstoppable. And I fear for the side of Light Cavalry, if they don't find a solution for this, I think this might be just an easy pick-off match coming in from the side of Birthright.
Is that a Belleric ban? I thought they're the ones that played the Belleric. Is Belleric gotta be some crazy pocket pick that teams pull out every now and then just to show that, you know, it's the key to victory? I'm not sure, but maybe that also opens the possibility that they want to go for an attack speed DPS marksman on their side, which could be the 1-1. I feel like the 1-1 will work wonders right now. They ban out the Tigreal as well, so preventing that anti-dive. So definitely they want to dive in. There is the Claw, there's the 1-1. And they realized that Light Cavalry banned out the 1-1 as soon as they saw the Belleric ban coming through. So Urek's not going to get his hands on that one. But the Claude being open means the Beatrix being picked up on the side of Light Cavalry. I felt like Birthright saw that coming from a mile away, that the Beatrix being left open will be the first pick that they go for it on the other side. So Birthright are cooking something. I feel like it's got to be maybe a Claude, maybe a Granger even, that would do well in this game. Just because of the fact that you can kite along with the Matilda. And,
I mean, you could also bully with the Hearth here. Keep that in mind. The Hearth is a lame bully.
Yeah, true. Like Harrod being left open also says that he definitely a lane bully indeed, and he's gonna do really well with the Matilda's guiding wind. You have enough front line, enough space is created for this Harrod to start dancing around, right? So it's looking good for the side of Birthright, and to be honest, they can't go wrong with any marksman they go with right here. But they go for the Valentina. I like it because you get to steal away the Frigid Glacier, but also put their roamer into position. But they go for the Moskov still.
I mean, it works.
Not convinced, right?
listen, it works. This time there's no link to catch up on that split push. I think Birthright do have something since they're not ones to play with a split push. I think they're playing around Gold Laner being aggressive with that Spear of Destruction. I think they want to keep playing that team fight playstyle, something that could not only back up the Matilda and the Alpha, but also the Phoveus, right? And I mean, Moscow is quite understandable, but at the same time, it's such a risk pick because you get almost outranged by the entire side of Light Cavalry. I mean, by the time you try to get close to Alan, he'd already used the Soul Sever and everything else on you. Malfury does have the better distance here, especially with the Bennett, right? Kriv on the other side, you can't really get close to Kriv unless you land that Spear of Destruction, right? So it's quite a risk pick, but at the same time, if executed correctly, if played right with the Matilda and the Phoveus here, I think he has an engaging chance. Other than that, I think the Moskov pick is also good for pressuring like lanes from top to bottom and making sure Light Cavalry does not have that free space while pushing.
I think the split push does work out, the Spear of Destruction, of course, but at the same time, this Cho is definitely a threat that's been picked up by Light Cavalry in the roam position, looking to single target pick off any single person that like, especially this Alpha who will be coming in with the Spear of Alpha and then instantly kicking him back with the Way of the Dragon, the Flicker combo, the Jeet Kundo for the knockup. It works well, and with the fact that they have enough to get a defensive team fight with this Frigid Glacier, they're looking for the early advantage though from the snowball that could come in with the Suyo. But right now, I think they'll just be looking for answers all across the board. And I like Cavalry's draft, very well rounded, but just that Birthright have a lot of mobility, a lot of sustain, and the counter engage that can come in with the IMU as well. So I feel like both the drafts are good, only a matter of time. I think the first 2 minutes will be very crucial, especially for the fact that who will be fighting for river control. It will come down to the Cho as well as the Matilda to take this river control. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Lethal Wanderer fight ends up deciding the entire game, Hockey. So, who do that and take us into the game?
I mean, I think I got for the side of Light Cavalry if they're able to play that perfect pick-off playstyle with the Cho, but apart from that, if that doesn't work pretty well, I think Birthright might dominate this one all the way through. So yeah, we don't know yet. We don't know if it's gonna be the perfect execution from the side of Light Cavalry with the pick-off or the Birthright, because we're about to find out, ladies and gentlemen, on game number 2 right now. It looks like for the side of Light Cavalry, they're going into the fast clear. They want that river control. They want that lethal. They want to make sure they're all around the map.
Yeah, they are going to make sure they're all around the map. And here, Hockey, they might want to get the party started quite early. Creep, get the damage on towards Mark, but Danny.
Ooh, Danny is getting in the Terrify in and making sure he doesn't get exposed as much, but Levi on the other side, there is a guiding wind, making sure he doesn't get caught off guard here by Leandro.
Yeah, and you can see instantly, like I said, they might have lost quite a lot in the Lethal Wanderer, both teams realizing they don't want to give the advantage away. And the side of Leandro as well as Levi trying to farm up, make sure they hit that level 4 power spike soon enough.
And oh, by the way, Reborn TZ is not in the game.
Yeah, I know. I was just looking at it. I was just like, is Reborn TZ not really working out? I feel like that substitution. I think that substitution is the reason we see that Belleric being banned out, right? Because Alan plays the Belleric in the EXP, or rather in the roam position with that Flicker Wrath of Dryad's combo. But right now, both teams in this turtle pit are ready to get it started. They want to get the clear in the mid lane. Malfear in level 4. Mark not there yet, but Levi already getting the turtle started. Leandro as well as Creve might want to get an engage.
They're looking for it as Creeps trying to be aggressive as possible here onto Leva, and it looks like Leandro's looking for the red through the Soul Sever, but it's gonna be missed. Unfortunately, Levi landing it. The Frigid Glacier coming in, disrupting, but look at my lobby though, going in. One jump after another. The Demonic Force still looking for more, almost takes out Malfury here, but takes out the Flicker, the resource instead, the only resource that could help Malfury survive.
Yeah, and you know what other resource did they take apart from the fact that what could help him survive was just that orange buff stolen away by Levi with the retribution. He is level 6 to the level 4 of Leandro, and that's not where you want to be if you're a Suyo, because the Suyo versus an Alpha is a very simple equation. Who snowballs first will win the entire game. And you can see right now Levi already ahead thanks to the help of the Matilda along with Danny in the mid lane, getting that control in the form of this Valentina. But Krieve, Way of the Dragon.
Ooh, the Way of the Dragon coming through with the Frigid Glacier, but the Purify just in time. But there it is, the first blood coming in from Leandro, and at the same time is traded. There it is, Levi picking up the kill for himself, still looking for more, but can't find V, and he did find something, and he found a way to protect teammates back to the base. But looks like he might get poked heavily here. There it is, but looks like things might have to calm down. I mean, they just went 1-for-1, and it's not really a good one when you have Leandro falling here.
Yeah, I think Leandro went down early, and it was a really well play coming in from Urek, who hit that Spear of Destruction and instantly went in, providing that Spear of Mystery, getting that CC on towards him into the wall and taking him down. And that was really well played. Of course, the kill going in the hands of Levi. So 1-for-1 traded, but Light Cavalry did get first blood. But however, the fact that a lot of resources were taken away by Birthright means that they're ahead in gold with the turtle being started soon enough. But Way of the Dragon get another kick coming out, but doesn't want to commit just yet, making sure that the neutral objective is the one that they want to contest for. So my lobby as well as VN have a lot of work cut out for them, but Mark making sure he creates a space for his team.
Oh, Urek gets a kill in the gold lane, but over here the Frigid Glacier making sure that he doesn't contest, and there's Krieve taken out by the Spear of Alpha. Mark on the other hand, super close to falling. The Purify gets him just out just in time. But over here on the gold lane, we've seen a 1v1 between Urek and Allen here. I mean, I'm guessing Urek did land a Spear of Destruction and just went through, but now Vian on the other hand has that power of wilderness, does not have that power of wilderness. Actually, the Purify coming in for movement speed, still looking for more, but Vian is just too aggressive on that Hilda. He doesn't want to let that go.
He was bloodthirsty, wasn't he? He really wanted that kill so bad. But at the same time, they're trying to trade a tower for tower, top for the bot side. And you can see both teams going to work really well disciplined. They understand that both these towers can be traded for each other. But at the same time, if you take a look at the item power spike, War Axe for the Hunter Strike being traded. And at the same time, Way of the Dragon on towards him.
Ooh, taken out there, but it looks like a 1-for-1, and Urek unfortunately falls for that Way of Dragon, doesn't have the Purify. They know that and they went for it, but now I think they're looking to change the pace of the game here. For the Leandros, looking to maybe catch up here to Levi, but Levi, the Spear of Alpha, unfortunately doesn't hit, and Vian gets out safely, but now there's an objective coming up 40 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, the turtle, and they gotta make sure they don't give that turtle in the hands of Birthright. Otherwise, they're gonna be way ahead. I think maybe it could potentially boost them up not only to 3 but 4k ahead, and that's a lot, ladies and gentlemen, in these types of matches.
Yeah, it is quite a lot. You can see the Terrify on towards VN already, and Mark is creating the space while Levi getting that split push coming in, and VN trying to poke him down, but is not enough because he has the Guiding Wind to get that extra bit of sustain. He even has the Favor Roam unlocked, if I'm not wrong, but the Golden Staff on towards Urek while Allen picks up the BOD, so the damage definitely going to be online right now. So this neutral objective, the turtle, would be the difference maker, but Krieve wants to go into the backside.
Krieve is looking for something, but look at this, as my lobby and Vian are just going in for a brawl with the backup Danny here zoning them out. It looks like another turtle falls into the hand of Birthright, and now they're looking for something as, a flying Alpha coming through with the Spear of Alpha, taking out Vian. There it is on the killing spree, the Frigid Glacier stopping Allen and Krieve, and there it is, a perfect Spear of Destruction, making sure he gets his target. Danny backs up in, and there's has been slain and going for more. Leandro survives barely on 1 HP, and what a team fight, just pushing the whole side of Light Cavalry back here, and an amazing spirit coming in from Urek.
Yeah, I think Urek is the difference maker, of course, and you can see that Spear of Destruction making the difference, and they are going ham at the tier 2 right now, Hockey. They will get the tier 2 on the bot side as well. The Birthright, once again, a disciplined push coming in, and Krieve might be looking to make a play once again, but definitely not getting the better trade so far like Cavalry.
I mean, listen, losing two tier twos in 7 minutes is something you do not want to see, right? That just shows how much ahead Birthright is in the game right now. Even if it's 7 minutes in, they are so much ahead, right? And it's so hard for them to come back here for Light Cavalry. They need to start adapting, thinking something. They need to start getting those pickoffs that could really cause a difference.
They are trying to create a difference, that is for sure. But so far, if you're a Cho, you want to play aggressive, which is what they're doing. Their positioning is really good as well. Allen misses Renner's apathy right now, but Levi might get caught out. Vian and Creep are there. Hawk, you take it away.
They're looking for something. Creeve is just sitting there, but he looks like he can't catch anyone as a team
Leandro.
fight. Danny, and looks like Mark is going for something. The Spear of Destruction
my
coming through,
goodness.
but look now, the Conceal coming in
No.
from behind will be pull up something. There it is. Ulrich might be in trouble. Escapes just in time from the Power of Wilderness,
Nah.
making sure Vian is frozen, and that was, ladies and gentlemen, was not the way they wanted it to go. I mean, you've seen them sit there camping. They were waiting and waiting, and unfortunately, it doesn't go the way they wanted, and this might cost them the one and only chance they had. But they're still looking for more. Look at this. They're still desperate for the fight. They want to make sure to pick something. But Ulrich here, the Spear of Misery, stopping everything, putting the side of Light Cavalry in a miserable state right now as they're trying to come back here.
They are trying to make that comeback, but Light Cavalry definitely barking up the wrong tree. My lobby is not supposed to be our target, but somehow they get something in return, right? At least they got one kill, of course. And even in that team fight that occurred previously where Vian and Creep's positioning was absolutely impeccable and Leandro just overextended a little bit, took a little too much poke from Danny, got taken down early. But at the same time, Creeve with the conceal play, Vian did the right thing by targeting Ulrich, but at the same time, if you saw Kree went with the way of the dragon on towards Mark, who even had a Purify and a Circling Eagle, so it made no difference whatsoever. And Birthright definitely on the aggression, and right now with the Lord marching down the mid lane, they'll be hoping to end the game.
I mean, Nibiru and Bennett are out for Allen here as he tries to clear, but look at the top side, look at the mid side, look at the bottom side. They're all pushing so well, getting that first inhibitor down already. Creeve might be in trouble trying to clear, and it looks like the Circling Eagle with the Spear of Alpha taking him down. There it is, the Winter Crown bot by Levy, making sure he wants to dive more and make sure he frees just to be safe. And now they're going in not only for the bottom lane here, as you can see, my lobby is trying to make it take that tower down, but now they're going in for the group here. They're going in for the mid lane. There it is, the mid inhibitor taken out, the Spear of Alpha coming through, but Levi might be in trouble. There it is, the Spear of Alpha, the Circling Eagle coming in, knocking two people up, but I think, ladies and gentlemen, this might be the end of game number 2 as Ulrich finally focuses that base, and there it is, ladies and gentlemen, as Moskov demolishes the game number 2 here on the base.
The fact that Alan was actually playing on the Beatrix is definitely the first one that actually got me crazy. But man, oh man, Birthright, they seem to be just steamrolling the entire series. Unexpected, to be very honest. And I know, Kronos, you're going to say it's not unexpected. We thought that might actually happen because how solid Birthright has been.
Birthright's been solid. They've been disciplined. They understand their draft. They know their win condition. Yeah, I know. Sound like a broken record, right? The most consistent team in Europe. Yada, yada, yada. Light Cavalry, PH don't have answers. They haven't found a way to crack open any sort of defenses, any well-roundedness that could come in from the side of Birthright. But they did try. They did try, and they did make questionable plays as well, in my opinion, especially given the fact that the positioning was there.
Ooh.
They had the opening. Vian went onto the right target, which is Ulrich, of course, but Creeves targeting in towards the end when he should have picked off either Danny or maybe Ulrich even, just to make sure they get the kill, get a shutdown possibility. But went with the Wave Dragon on towards Mark, who's a Matilda, the Roamer with the Guiding Wind, Circling Eagle, a lot of shields, as well as the Purify. Did it really make a difference? I think, there's that emote that's there in the game, or there used to be, the one that says panic, panic. So like, was that a creep panic moment? I'm not sure. Just saying. Hey, chat, you can let me know if that's true or not. They know what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, it just seems to be the case. I mean, target priority was definitely a bit of a problem out there, and at the same time, I guess so, it's basically the pressure, man. I know I should not really say this because Light Cavalry has found themselves in worse situations and that they've made those comebacks The stories have been really good. But at the same time, it just seems like this time around we have a different writer. So no plot armor coming in for light cavalry. But we'll have to have a look at the MVP, the man who had all the plot armor for his team, by his team, and with his team. It's going to be the man Ulrich on the Moscow. Literally showing the side of light cavalry how it's done.
I mean, this man picked up the Moskov and said, hey, let me teach you how to play it, and he performs exceptionally well here on the Moskov, landing a Spear of Destruction and a Spear of Miseries here, making sure that they're not in a good state right now, right? They're in a miserable and really terrible state thanks to that Moskov, and he honestly deserves it in my opinion.
I kind of agree. His positioning was just impeccable. And at the same time, he was constantly making sure that he's taking out all the proper targets out, right? And he was winning the lane against Alan as well. I know I shouldn't say this. And Alan should not really lose a lane against Moscow, but it is what it is. You normally on a Beatrix should be the one who should have better rotation, though I would not exactly say the rotation or right Spear of Destruction offers a bit more on the other side, but still, in terms of lane itself, I think so with the Bennett's Rage, Ibiru's Passion Chronos, Beatrix should have the advantage.
Yeah, I was going to say Beatrix is supposed to have the advantage in lane for sure. It's just unless it comes down to the micro skills. And guess what? Urek definitely got his micro on point because on a Moskov, I know Scared, you're the most critical when it comes to a Moskov, right? You don't like that hero. Why? Because he has such a short range. Yes, he has damage in towards the late game, but until the early and mid, you're really looking for answers. You need a help from your team or at least a mistake that come out from the opposition. And you can see clearly that was definitely the mistake that came out from the side of Light Cavalry. He didn't even need the Malefic Gun to get that extended range. So that, with the fact that Alan had the Malefic Gun early as a first item, with the extended range, he's still not able to poke out Urek in the lane. Yeah, it's questionable. It's showing a little bit of a difference in terms of what can be achieved as an individual player in the game of Mobile Legends Bang Bang when you're in the laning phase. If you know what, if you're catching my drift.
I mean, we all are. We all know what exactly you mean in that situation. But though, I want to talk about the itemization since you touched upon that fact over Alan making the Malefic Gun first while Urek was building it as his 4th core item. I loved how Danny itemized too. Quickly went in for the first item, Glowing Wand. And I know sometimes people really be like, yeah, it's a normal item on Valentina. But we have seen a lot of players in the tournament itself do not prioritizing the most important item right there, that's the anti-heal. Because yes, there's a Cho, but there's a Hilda on the other side, and there's Alan who will eventually get a decent amount of HP back. So I think so that was again a very good idea. And at the same time, you can look at the stats of Levi. They're absolutely way below normal. But you know what? He was always there for the neutral objectives every single time, making sure that his team is winning those neutral objective fights, Hockey.
Yeah, I mean, that's what excellent objective playstyle coming in from Levi, making sure he gets what his team needs, so they can perform what they can gain from that, right? And it's like he said about the itemization. I think most mages or every mage at this point should start building that going on first item, since it not only helps you get that anti-heal, but at the same time it helps your roamer build what's needed so they don't get picked off early. Because most of the players, they manage to build a dominance ice or build that glowing wand first on the roamer, and that usually takes away some of the tankiness, the resistance that they can have during early game team fights, henceforth making them fall. So I think making sure that your roamer can get their general comfort item first, which is whether the flask, whether a defense, depending on the game, and then having the mage building the glowing one, I think that makes the composition way more comfortable. You get to have that anti-heal, you get to have that damage, and at the same time, you get to have that tankiness that your roamer need, or the supports.
I 100% agree, and in that department as well, we could clearly see that it was a very solid item prioritization coming in from the Matilda itself, right? I mean, I'll be honest, Kronos, though, I think so. Do you really complete a dominance ice if you're playing a Cho, and that too against an Alpha into the jungle with a Valentina in the mid lane and a Matilda as the roamer? I really feel I wanted to see a bit of a magic defense in the early on, and then maybe a Dreadnought armor into the dominance ice, because either ways, Aurora's gonna make the glowing wand as the first item. And
yeah,
Moscow,
I agree there.
yeah, and Holy Trinity of Moscow, it takes at least 9 minutes.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The itemization definitely making a difference as well. The Cho, Usually the first time you get to see he goes in for those tough boots to give a little bit of, you know, what you call that? The anti-CC. A little bit of anti-CC, if I'm not wrong, that comes in with a tough
CC
boots.
reduction?
Yeah, the
Reduce
CC reduction.
CC.
So,
Yeah.
sort of. CC reduction, of course. But at the same time, after that, you want to go for the Dreadnought armor. If they got a lot of magic damage in the beginning, instead of the Dreadnought armor, you can go in for the Silence Robe into the Dreadnought armor and then finish up your Dominance Ice. That would be a good pathing, good build pathing for him, just because of the fact that you can sustain. You can go into you can go and try and create a dive. You can try and create separation. You get the extra bit of sustain with the Shunpo, and you want to be in their faces the entire time. So I feel like if they were able to itemize better, it would be a difference maker. But right now, with the steamrolling that Birthright have been, I think they'll definitely take up game number 3 as well.
With Chronos over here.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just
Three.
saying it's a 3-0.
That's
think
it.
it's
If you
3-0.
think if
It's
it's
like
3,
we're all
just
in the
put it
Hunger
up.
Games. It's like we're all in the Hunger Games.
All of us are thinking of a 3-0, ladies and gentlemen. You type down your ideas. Do you think it's a 3-0 or do you think Light Cavalry can make a comeback? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, have fun. Let's see the comeback story or maybe the domination end.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to potentially the last game for Light Cavalry here as we speak. And they gotta change now. They gotta pull out every single thing. And I don't know if you noticed, but I changed my hat right there. But yeah, apart from that, they gotta make sure they pull out their last cards. Because if they don't, this might be the end of the journey.
Hey, you know what, Hockey? I know you changed your hat, but I got a different suit on as well. You're just a chill guy. I'm the guy in the office. Look at the difference. It's polar opposites right now, of course. But at the same time,
I mean, we're
We
just
wanna
chill
see-
casters.
hey, you know, we want to see if Birthright, because trailing back to game number 1 and 2, Birthright actually didn't do anything out of the ordinary, right? They played an absolute basic game of Mobile Legends Bang Bang. It was just pure discipline, understanding the heroes, knowing when to go in, knowing when to go out. It was a clean game. Game number 1 was clean. Game number 2 was clean. Yes, there was a little bit of tug of war early, somewhere on the mid-game phase, but Light Cavalry botched that. But that just means how good Birthright have to do something out of the ordinary to get an advantage. Means that their draft is not the better draft, of course, and also they are not able to play towards their win condition because they're losing the individual laning matchups, which creates so much of a big difference in the long run.
I mean, you've mentioned that here Birthright isn't really doing anything special, right? They're just playing ordinary but a bit more disciplined than any other team. I feel like for the side of Light Cavalry, they can't really perform that well under so much pressure, or maybe they're just overthinking the plans that Birthright have for them. They thought like Birthright is gonna have those special techniques or something or whatever, right? Special play style, maybe it's something we won't see, or maybe they're just super nervous under pressure because this is not the same Light Cavalry we saw a while ago, right? And when it comes to such a heavy match, especially against one of Europe's best, I feel like they need to step up the game. They need to make sure they are able to adapt within that pressure and make sure that they also play with their comfort style.
Yeah, they gotta play with their comfort style, but guess what? They're going against against the statistics, Hockey.
Yeah, I mean,
They're going against the statistics with that Hilda again.
Hilda is just a bad charm into this MESL. Like anywhere else you would see Hilda dominating, but especially, ladies and gentlemen, here in the MESL, I don't know, Hilda's been a bad charm. I don't think she's one to pick nowadays.
Not just that, Hockey. Not just that. I feel like the weight. She should be good. You know, she should work out. I feel like the weight of the tusks that she's carrying on her shoulders in the game is probably just weighing the team down when they're trying to go for an engage or not. But on the other side, they go for what works in the form of a Suyo as well as the Beatrix. So right now, you know, Birthright wants to get this early game dominance and end the game as soon as possible.
I mean, they got the Beatrix, they got the Suyo. They're gonna say like, hey, watch that Suyo now. Watch what we can do with the Suyo, right? and Light Cavalry need to pull out something. I mean, you still have a few marksmen pick on the table before they get taken out, and ooh, Eve on the other side. Unfortunately, is a 0% win rate, but every time we've seen an Eve, she was super good in terms of almost every team fight. It's just that she was uncomfortable, and there it is, the man himself, the lane bully himself, Hearth. I've been waiting for that pick because he's just fun to cast and watch.
Yeah, because you like people dancing around in the land of dawn. You just add the Zushin's lantern flare. Next thing you know, it's a whole disco. But right now, hey, RWM's the room, lantern flares the disco light, and Herrick just dashing around and dancing around. Hey, with 1-1, oh my goodness. All that a party in the land of dawn, an MLBB party, folks. Somebody got to do that, create a video, put it up on TikTok or, you know, Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or whatever. It's a good idea, guys. Give it a try. But right now, looking
Don't forget about the CC. The CC can be there as an idol, you know?
Like what, a party trick? The yo-yo blitz?
The yo-yo, I mean, she's an idol, lore-wise, I think, right?
True. Sort of. But Hawk, you've drifted away from the point. Look at the picks rather. We got the Hilda, we got the Eve, and the Harriet. So of course, they're gonna be dancing around in the RWM. So I like the draft coming in from Light Cavalry so far. They need a lot of CC coming in towards their jungle as well as their roam position. So I feel like they got to go for the fighter jungle route. But at the same time, if you take a look at Birthright, they have the Suyo for the early snowball, the Beatrix for the mid to late game, and also the snowball if it gets going. And they give my lobby the Phoveus again. I feel like they're just giving them comfort picks right now, but they realize that take away the Hayabusa, take away the Alpha. The Sicilian is not going to be in the hands of Danny anymore. And I feel like right now it's got to be the Aurora being banned out, but they banned the Tigreal instead. So Danny has the Aurora. Danny can also really go for the Farsa. I wouldn't expect that, but also the Valentina's available.
Yeah. I would say Valentina's a better pick. You can take that real world manipulation to yourself, and it would help you so much alongside the Phoveus, right? Aurora, I mean, it's kind of a risk pick because with Aurora, I think you would get outranged by the Eve, outpoked as well. There is the Valentina, as you mentioned, is obviously the better pick here against the Eve and against the Hilda, since you're able to get out as well, dash out. And it's just, I mean, mage picks are usually tricky, right? There are a lot of mages on the table you can decide and pick from. I mean, right now on the table we still have the Farmers open that could have worked. Vixana is also a choice into out-rotating the Eve potentially, but Valentina just works best thanks to her IMU. And right now the Kufra with the Ling, and this is quite the unusual pick here, seeing Kufra so like free like picked here. I don't think Kufra was the best of choices.
Yeah, I'm not liking the Kufra. The Ling would have worked, but the Kufra fits the build. They need a lot of CC right now, and you get that in the form of the Kufra. One of the, if I'm not wrong, probably the hero that has the most CC in the game, at least in terms of tanks. But right now, he is a complete ball of CC. Crowd control in the form of the Tyrant's Revenge, the Rage, of course, the Bouncing Ball, preventing them from dashing in and out. But the reply from the other side, we've seen a chip being picked up twice. 0%. Was that right, Hockey? Was that a 0%?
Well,
was that 10%?
I think that was a 0. No, that was
0%. It can't
0.
be 10% because two picks, no wins. Yeah, 0% win rate. But it seems like Birthright might pull it off.
Chip wasn't even in the first match. It was a bug in the graphic.
Yeah, it was a bug.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I think he traveled onto the first match to let us know he's gonna be in there somehow. And yeah, I mean, it could be. You know, he can make portals here and there. He just came from there and said, "Hey guys, make sure the game goes to game 3 because I'm gonna be there." And there it is, the chip right now showing up, and quite interesting pick, really, right? I mean, to be fair, I kind of like the chip pick because now you don't have anything that's actually that threatening against the chip apart from the Eve. Usually, when you see a chip, you would be paired against a Minotaur, a Carmilla, or an Aurora, or maybe something that would have massive AoE and disruptive to the chip. But now, I feel like chip here could work. You know, chip here doesn't have that many counters, you know, apart from having the Kufra, which isn't as huge as the other roamers.
I agree. The chip could be the difference maker, trying to tilt the tides in towards the side of Birthright with that shortcut, of course, turning a 1v1 into a 1v5. You always want to get that numbers advantage when you have the chip. Alongside my lobby, who's going to be a problem with this Fovius, and of course the cleanup crew in the form of Levi's Uyo. So yeah, I'm for these. They got just because like Harry got everything mixed up. I'm just questioning. Did Birthright do something? No, they did not. So at this point, I feel like hockey. I still think it's gonna be a 3-0. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm still going with chances of 3-0 here. I mean, I quite like the team play coming in from Birthright, and having the chip makes that team play strengthen even more because they need a lot of synergy to play with that chip, right? On the side of Light Cavalry, they do have the draft here. I mean, they have a really good draft, one that can potentially out-rotate Birthright if they're able to get around the chip, right? But at the same time, once again, I've said it many times, I think it comes down to execution. But generally here, looking just from looking draft, just on paper, I feel like Birthright has this for the 3-0.
Yeah, definitely Birthright will have it. And I feel like so far it's just a matter of time. It's all, of course, it's game number 3, folks, that we're going to get into right now in this best of 5 lower bracket final. Birthright versus Light Cavalry PH, and all PH team versus Birthright, who are coming in from the side of Spain, of course. And it feels like this game is going to be a blast because Creve already get it started and Mark trying to get that poke going down. It is a 2-0 in the favor of Birthright. Will Light Cavalry be able to make that miracle comeback with their reverse sweep, or will Birthright just make it a 3-0 and go into the grand finals?
I mean, we've seen that miracles many times, right? It could happen again. I mean, we've seen it with Extremist Lands here at 7, but are we going to see it with Light Cavalry against one of the strongest teams we know of right now, which is Birthright? And that might be unlikely, but it's not a 0%. And it looks like the poke here onto Danny is a bit too much, but once again, he knows he can poke in and out cleanly.
Yeah, and also Levi not opting to go for the tough boot, goes for the magic shoes and says wants to get that cooldown reduction early on, getting that level 3 power spike with that soul sever combo with the blade surge might be the difference maker. Danny already getting poked out means the rotation is definitely in the favor of the side of Light Cavalry, but with Malfurion being a stationary target, doesn't want to really rotate around the map unless he gets the vision from Can't Find Bien as well as Creve. So it's been a stalemate of an early game, but it could turn out something else if Levi wants to go in for the kill.
They are indeed want to go in, and there is disrupting Malfurion. That is actually a really good play, really good way to disrupt, the side of Light Cavalry for the upcoming objective, knowing that he's gonna be a bit too late here for the turtle. And looks like they are cooking something as Vian goes in aggressively here with the Cyclops Eye, but looks like he almost gets taken eye. There it is coming in. Leandro has a Tempest of Blade, but doesn't have the blue buff, and he's trying to go for something, but unfortunately misses a sword. And he's still going for more here, going in for Scienfin, but Leandro, unfortunately a bit too slow here. The Scienfin doesn't even connect, and he's just taking down here for the first blood by the hand of Mark and my lobby.
Yeah, Mark getting that first blood means that the chip will be able to get a little bit more sustain items faster, but the problem is Leandro on a Ling won't be able to scale up to the point that he wants to, and that will be the problem for the side of Light Cavalry. And you can see already on the back foot, Mark playing quite aggressive. Alan stole away that gold crab, however. That's good gold in his pocket, but Creve just making sure to mirror Mark the entire time. But what he doesn't realize that it could turn into a 2v5 or a 1v5 whenever Mark feels like it. He does have the portals to make the rotation a little bit faster, even though the cooldowns were really bad. Right now, after the nerf, the goal lead in the favor of Birthright around 600. Not so much, but it could get away, and Light Cavalry could let it slip if they get the hands on the right target for the side of Birthright. And Levi is looking for the snowball hockey, but on the bot side, they're looking to take the trade.
Looks like they are going in for the trade as 5-man pull through, but nice escape coming in from V and making sure he doesn't get caught here off guard. He's going, he tried to go into the portal there, I think, but apart from that, looks like the flicker coming in with the Titan's Revenge here on the top side, alongside the backup coming in from Leandro. And there it is, the Tempest of Blades, but Alan with the Zaman Force.
Levi.
Through, and what a catch coming in from Levi. He knows his stuff on the Suyu. Still going for more as the Soul Silver takes in the double kill. And he said, no, we're not going to go down without nothing, and make sure his team comes out positively.
Yeah, Levi just realized, waited for the best opportunity. The ultimate opportunist went in with the Blade Surge Soul Sever combo, caught him just when he got the Tempest of Blades down. Leandro was not able to pick up his swords, and right now they have the advantage. They are the aggressors. So far, every single game, they're the ones ahead, and right now, with the shortcut available, Mark could make a play, but realizes Allen goes in for the Zaman Force.
Going after the man for the Chrono Dash is coming in left and right, but looks like there is the Ruin
Ooh.
Manipulation. Tyrant's Rage isn't even enough to stop them and still look for more fighting there. VM might be in trouble. Revitalize isn't even enough to heal him out of that fight. Or
Whoa.
will it be? Oh, never mind, but he did stay longer than expected, and that's what I mean, that's just insane coming in from the side of Birthright. 3 matches, and all three, so far, in my opinion, look the same.
Yeah, it's been looking the same. Nothing special coming out from the side of Light Cavalry. Neither is Birthright. Just a clean game so far. Allen goes in for the Chrono Dash with the Zaman Force again on towards Urek.
Oh, going in, but is taken down here by Mark again, alongside my lobby, and looks like just for the side of Birthright, they are saying, hey, let's just play around Urek here, trying to make sure Urek rotates as much as possible, because if you're able to snowball Urek that much in the early game, I don't think they're gonna have a late game, and there is Grief being picked off so casually here, like it's nothing. This just looks like your average ranked game between 2 games.
Yeah, just another day at the office for the side of Birthright. 7 kills up to Light Cavalry's only kill, which was the first, the blood, of course. And right now you can see with the atomization, Allen really needs a lot more time to scale up. He's trying to build in towards that Starlium site to get the advantage. But here Mark might want to go on towards Vian.
Real world manipulation is ready in the hands of Malfury, but also Danny, and you gotta keep that in mind, right? Looks like Mark is not letting Leandro go. He knows the pressure he needs to apply on the Ling, not giving him the comfort zone he needs, but now making sure that the Ling gets his farm. Will he be trading towers for that? And there it is, a purify coming in from Danny, and the real manipulation counteracting that. And there it is, Mark taking out Leandro, still looking for more as Urukine finds Vian actually. And there it is, Valkyrie is taken out by my lobby. The Zaman Force coming through, but not even a Chrono Dash can get him out of that sexy triple kill coming in from the man himself, Uruk on the Beatrix.
Yeah, right now, Urek on the Beatrix has been dominating 5-1-5. That is 10 out of 12 kills participated in for the side of Birthright. Urek, an absolute monster, has the Malefic Gun, building towards the Blade of Despair right now. And I feel like at this point, Light Cavalry are scrambling, looking for any possible advantage that they can get around the map. And that's why Leandro goes in towards the bot side to get the clear on the wave. He does have the Berserker's Fury, building in towards the Hostage Claws for some sustain. But guess what? While you're building all of that, Birthright are taking more objective, more control around the map. The map is starting to look a little bit more red compared to blue, and seems like Leandro's the target on the bot side.
Looks like Leandro might be in trouble, but just flies away from there. I mean, the BOD has been just picked up from the hands of Uruk, and Mark, he's just sitting there. He's waiting. He knows, Leandro, hey, I'm not gonna let you go, right? And he's doing that perfectly well, and also keeping sure he's keeping in balance that he plays with the team as well. Pressures everyone equally, but especially Leandro.
Yeah. Can't find Vian. Wants to make the opening for his team. Mark, though, he does have the shortcut. Doesn't want to use it just yet. Danny has the real world manipulation, but Malfurion pops his Purify to get away, and Leandro goes in.
Leandro tries to go for an opening, but I don't think he'll be going in. I think it's a bit too risky having Uruk here next to Danny and making sure Danny does have that real manipulation. So even if the Tempest of Blades came out, I think he can use that real manipulation to get some shield, you know, to save himself. So that could have been the thing as well. Look on the top lane. I mean, Levi's just been going with a split push here, doing really good here and having wave managements. And yeah.
It's like a magic trick hockey. They take away the top side pressure at that, but the concealed play coming in. Mark might want to go in, creating space so far. Get the tier 2. Holy defense is there, so they're going to proc it quite early before the Lord could even spawn. And what I was saying, hockey, it's like a magic trick. They apply pressure on towards the lane, steal away your purple buff, and Leandro right now is just a broke man.
He is a broke man indeed. The only money he can get is those side lane minions, but apart from that, he can't really do much. He can't fight, he can't engage, all he can do is just farm and run. it's like a game of hide and seek,
Oh.
but looks like they seek the target they're looking for, and there it is, Leandro taken out once again by Ulrich, and it looks like his hiding spot wasn't really the best this time.
It really wasn't, was it? They forced him to use that Tempest of Blades because they realized that, yes, he can come in with the Finch Boy, steal away the Lord, but that was a beautiful Dark Wave coming in from my lobby to make sure he catches him while he's on top of the wall on the Finch Poise. But right now, they have the advantage. Birthright, the only kill they gave away was the first blood. Can't find Vienna, is in the middle of a fight.
Shortcut coming through, and there it is, the Tyrant's Rage, but unfortunately they don't have the farm, they don't have the money, but Ulrich is shut down here by Malfury, and looks for the side of Birthright. They're starting to retreat, knowing that they don't have the one and only Beatrix, but they're still looking for more. They said, psych, never mind, we have Levi on our team, we have Mark, we have that chip, and they're still looking for more. My lobby, they don't need Ulrich here, they just know they're that ahead in the game, you know, stopping Grieve here and making sure they try and look for an end, but I don't think they have to push for it, so never mind, it's only just Vian, and I think they're able to end as they taunt here, and this, ladies and gentlemen, might be the end of Light Cavalry Philippines as we speak right now, and there it is. Wait
No
for
way
it.
they just way they botched that. No way. About to say no way they botched that, right? It was a clean game that came in from the side of Birthright. Of course, for the doubters who doubted it, for the haters who hated it, you got you can do whatever you want. You still watch the game, and you witnessed the victory of Birthright in a 3-0 clean-cut fashion, Scared. Yet it was clean, it was disciplined, and we're all in the Hunger Games putting up the three fingers. But at the same time, I just feel like that shows the level of the upper bracket finals versus Extremely Slay and the competition and the competitive spirit they showed against Birthright there. And I think after that game, Birthright felt like they could beat anybody.
I kind of agree, because Birthright, with the way how they displayed their gameplay today, it is very different from what they were doing yesterday against Extremely Slay itself, right? They were too focused on single-ended draft, constantly prioritizing just one type of role and then trying to arrange their other pieces of the jigsaw. But today, it just seemed like they knew what picture they had to paint. It's just that what colors they want to use was something that Light Cavalry had to guess, and they could not guess even a single one, right, Hockey?
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't really get a single one. I think Light Cavalry was not prepared for what Birthright was cooking, right? And even though Light Cavalry, they are a strong team. Let's not forget that, right? They were one of the strongest, but I think this is a Birthright era we're talking about here.
We'll have to see, because definitely it's a Birthright era, and at the same time we'll have a look at who the MVP was for the previous game, who definitely started his own era in this entire game as well. Guess what? That's Levi on the Suyu. Man was legitimately being an Ackerman, killing out all the titans out there in the form of Light Cavalry Chronos.
Yeah, not only that, it's just the fact that how they control the map, how they know which team fight to pick, where to apply pressure, which wound is exposed for the side of Light Cavalry, and just pressing down on that particular wound to make sure they bleed them out entirely. Because if you look at Light Cavalry, they had no answer. It just felt like a game where they couldn't really do anything. Allen had the space early on in the top side to create an opening, but unfortunate for him, Ulrich just had the support when his team needed it. And over here, you can see, again, with this Amon Force trying to dash around, the Dark Wave is just too much for them to deal with. Without the damage dealers to clear out the Lord, I don't really know what Light Cavalry were expecting, because Krieve is there, provides the CC, but with the Kufra, when you want to dive in, and if you're the only form of a CC, you're looking for a super set, right? You're not just looking for a normal set, you're looking for a super set, and you don't get that. And I'm not talking about the ones that you get in the hit in the gym. I'm talking about the ones that where you catch about 5 men in that Tyrant Revenges, and they are just too mobile around the map. And even if you catch them all of a 5-man, they have enough CC from the side of Birthright and enough immune to actually turn the fight around.
It's the thing, you know, the main idea behind what they really needed to do versus what ended up happening was the fact that I genuinely feel that since Reborn TZ was not playing with the team, and Alan normally plays in as the main roamer, it kind of came down to the coordination issue. Because let's be honest, when team wanted to engage, that was the time when Alan was really not there. Even in that very last fight, right before the Lord hit down that mid inhib, I think so. At that point, Creve and Malfurion were the last two guys standing trying to fight in that kill box as Creve landed a big Tyrant's Rage into Malfurion's real world manipulation. At the same time, Alan was just not there. I guess he just respawned at that point, or maybe he was just not present in the time of fight. And once Creve retreated, Malfurion's RWM timer went off. Then Alan jumped in to try and dash around a bit into his own Zaman force. Now that things really do not happen in that manner, right? That's the big problem coming in. We can see in the statistics itself, Hockey, 44% damage dealt by Malfurion.
Yeah. I mean, Malfurion is just doing pretty exceptionally well, poking constantly here. But yeah, like you mentioned, right, I think they had some communication issues since they were changing players often, especially in the series and the one before that. So I think their communication level weren't really timed, weren't really that well. And it unfortunately led to them losing against Birthright. I mean, it's like playing against a consistent team with a team that you're constantly changing players, and I don't think that worked out pretty well for them, did it?
I kind of agree. And at the same time, Kronos, I think so this pick of a Valentina was actually really solid, because the idea for Light Cavalry was to fight in a kill box, and they were kind of drafting like that itself, apart from the Link pick and the Kufra pick, I'll have to say that. Apart from these two picks, their idea was to fight in the kill box. I know. I had the same reaction when I saw the Link being picked up and then Kufra as the last pick. I was like, why Kufra in this case? But okay, we're not gonna pounce on that fact too much. But the Valentina pick, that too, if I'm not wrong, the second picking phase for Birthright is what really just shook the foundations of Light Cavalry, because now Valentina took the RWM for themselves, and their composition was a much better one for the kill box with the Suyu into the mix, and then you're adding the Beatrix as well. You've got a good amount of crowd control in the form of Phobius. So you are caught in that RWM, you're not going to survive that. So I think that's where Birthright actually, just plays that trump card over the Ace of Hearts.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because about the latter half of what you said. No, for the first half, I would say Ling was the worst pick in the game. It made sense to a certain extent just because of the fact that you could dive into the back line, you have a split push capability, you're looking for the late game power spike, especially around the RWM, to create a team fight of your own and then try and dominate and just be the cleanup that they need, because in the RWM, you're slowing them down, dishing out the damage. With the Zaman Force, you're slowing them down even further. Ling just has to come, clean up shop, call it a day, and Light Cavalry would have run away with the game. But for the side of Birthright, of course, it was absolutely impeccable to pick up this Valentina, because it's not a hard counter to any of the heroes, but it's a soft counter to many. And being a soft counter to many is better than being a hard counter to one, in my opinion, because you get to play around with the fact that you have the double dash, you have a lot of CC, you can steal away powerful ultimates on the other side, and really mobile enough not to get caught out in a 1v1 situation. So even against an assassin, you have the option to outplay. You have enough burst damage in towards the mid to late game phase. So going up close and personal against a Yve, even taking away the RWM, would definitely make the difference. And I feel like it was a very well thought out, methodical draft for the side of Birthright, and strategically organized gameplay that came in all three games, where it felt like, the side of Light Cavalry were just the lesser than the two.
I agree, and we're gonna see the bracket one more time, ladies and gentlemen, because now it's Birthright who moved up forward into the grand finals for a rematch with Extremely Slay, who were already in the grand finals yesterday by pushing Birthright down in those lower brackets. So it's gonna be yet again another revenge matchup. If I'm not wrong, this is the second time that Birthright are facing Extremely Slay in this event, while this was the third time overall that they've faced Light Cavalry as such, if you're comparing it with the MEC as well as in the MESL, right? Because if I remember correctly, it was Light Cavalry who knocked out Birthright back in MEC. So this time around, it was their own revenge arc, and not just once, twice, Revenge is a dish, always best served cold, Hockey. And it's going to be now Extremely Slay versus Birthright in the grand finals. Who are you picking for the win?
I mean, I've been shocked many and many times. He's trying to avoid it right there. But yeah, I've
He
been
can't.
shocked many and many and many times from Extremely Slay. And I think this is the time where I believe they could win this.
Okay, all right. You think Extremely
I
Slay
mean-
are gonna win this?
I mean, we've doubted them time to time, right? We've had our talks, we've had our words, but every single time we've talked about them, they've proven us wrong. And they came back stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And I believe they're gonna pull off the same thing against Birthright.
Hopes. I think so. Maybe because Extremely Slay is a team. Definitely, I will also 100% agree with you, Hockey, and your point of view that they've constantly did the unexpected. So now it is time that we actually start to believe in them. And Chronos, stop with the eye rolls. That gives us a very different idea of what's happening. But yeah, tell me, who do you think is winning?
Nah, I can't answer scared. I really cannot.
Can't
Not
run.
this.
You
Not-
can't
not-
run away,
not-
man.
Not this.
You
not
gave the
this,
Look
word.
at them
not this.
avoiding
You-
it.
Here, listen
Nah.
to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
Nah.
So let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Nah.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Let him speak.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. It's just the
Go
fact
ahead.
that. Let me tell you something. It's just the fact that it's gonna be a best of 7, first of all, which is gonna go the distance, in my opinion. After looking at what happened yesterday in the BO5, it's probably one of the most intense and the best series that we've seen in Europe ever, like ever. MEC Season 3, MEC Season 2, Season 1, call it the Shifu Cup, whatever you want to call it, from the beginning. The SPS, I think yesterday's upper bracket final was probably the best match that we've witnessed in Europe, of course. But I feel like if it's going to be a rematch in the finals, it's going to be a really, really good one. It's a best of 7, of course. It will go the distance. Birthright have been consistent so far, not just in this competition, in other competitions as well. Is just to show how good they are. But at the same time, Extremely Slay have proven again, come up against the odds. Stop, guys, stop clapping. I know what you're gonna ask, but they come up against the odds every single time, proving the haters wrong, and coming in from the online qualifiers. So they have the momentum just because they won game number 1, but for the momentum for the day in the side of Birthright because they had a clean 3-0 warm-up game before the grand finals, right? So right now, if you ask me, it will definitely be a tight series, and I cannot tell you who's going to win. It's going to go game by game, draft by draft.
You know, Kronos, this is the kind of answer that I always write whenever my teacher asks me, what's your favorite color? Explain for 20 marks. This is
Okay, Chronos, straight to the
Pick a
point.
team, my man. Pick a team with
Okay,
a scoreline.
hold
Call
on.
it.
Chronos. Straight to the point. You only have 2 words to choose from. Birthright, Extremely Slay. You can't say anything else. What'd you pick it?
Anything else?
No.
You have to understand. You can't say anything else. So you can't really pick it as well. Only 2 options. Now there's no other thing.
Birthright.
Come on, man. Come on. I really have my
Extremely
food
Slay.
getting cold out there,
Right.
man. I've got to eat it. Quickly tell me who you think is winning.
I
Fast,
really don't
Kronos.
know. I really don't know.
I don't care. Yesterday
Okay.
you
The
used
team-
your 1
the
dodge
team-
availability.
The team that takes game
There's no
number
that
3 will
team,
take the
that's
series.
what. Okay, no, we're not going with the team, that's what.
Don't put me on the spot, guys.
You
I love
are.
Birthright, but at the
You
same time,
are.
Extremely
You
Slay
are
have
on
proven
on the
against the
spot
odds.
right
I don't
now.
care.
Oh my
Choose
God,
a team,
it's getting
man.
hot in here.
Yeah, of course. Definitely not you out there who can't even answer the question. Tell me who's winning.
Wink, wink.
Of course. Fast. Come on, man.
I think Birthright. I think
All
Birthright.
right. All right.
we
That's what
finally
you
got
needed
it.
to do. My goodness, you
Birthright.
just gave me the PTSD of the same experience I used to have with my girlfriend when I asked, "What do you want to eat?"
Hey, yo. I know, right?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Hockey thinks that it's Extremely Slay. Kronos finally, after 5 years, thinks it's gonna be Birthright. I think so. It could be Extremely Slay as well. 4-3 scoreline. But one thing that we all agree on is that this one will go the distance. So we'll have to see who wins that one out. And guess what? There's a surprise waiting for all of you after this short break. But there's an interview. Apart from that, there's also one fun surprise. To catch that, make sure you join us after this break.
have to do something out of the ordinary to get an advantage. Means that their draft is not the better draft, of course, and also they are not able to play towards their win condition because they're losing the individual laning matchups, which creates so much of a big difference in the long run.
I mean, you've mentioned that here Birthright isn't really doing anything special, right? They're just playing ordinary, but a bit more disciplined than any other team. I feel like for the side of Light Cavalry, they can't really perform that well under so much pressure, or maybe they're just overthinking the plans that Birthright have for them. They thought like Birthright is gonna have those special techniques or something or whatever, right? Special play style, maybe it's something we won't see, or maybe they're just super nervous under pressure because this is not the same Light Cavalry we saw a while ago, right? And when it comes to such a heavy match, especially against one of Europe's best, I feel like they need to step up the game. They need to make sure they are able to adapt within that pressure and make sure that they also play with their comfort style.
Yeah, they gotta play with their comfort style, but guess what? They're going against against the statistics, hockey.
Yeah, I mean
they're going against the statistics with that Hilda again.
Hilda is just a bad charm into this MESL. Like anywhere else you would see Hilda dominating, but especially, ladies and gentlemen, here in the MESL, I don't know, Hilda's been a bad charm. I don't think she's one to pick nowadays.
Not just that, hockey, not just that. I feel like the weight, she should be good, you know, she should work out. I feel like the weight of the tusks that she's carrying on her shoulders in the game is probably just weighing the team down when they're trying to go for an engage or not. But on the other side, they go for what works in the form of a Suyo as well as the Beatrix. So right now, you know, Birthright wants to get this early game dominance and end the game as soon as possible.
I mean, they got the Beatrix, they got the Suyo, they're gonna say like, hey, watch that Suyo now, watch what we can do with the Suyo, right? And Light Cavalry need to pull out something. I mean, you still have a few marksmen pick on the table before they get taken out, and ooh, Eve on the other side, unfortunately, is a 0% win rate, but every time we've seen an Eve, she was super good in terms of almost every team fight. It's just that she was uncomfortable, and there it is, the man himself, the lane bully himself, Hearth. I've been waiting for that pick because he's just fun to cast and watch.
Yeah, because you like people dancing around in the land of dawn. You just add the Zushin's lantern flare. Next thing you know, it's a whole disco. But right now, hey, RWM's the room, lantern flares the disco light, and Herod just dashing around and dancing around. Hey, with 1-1, oh my goodness. All that a party in the land of dawn, an MLBB party, folks. Somebody got to do that, create a video, put it up on TikTok or, you know, Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts or whatever. It's a good idea, guys. Give it a try. But right now, looking
Don't forget about the CC. The CC can be there as an idol, you know?
Like what, a party trick? The yo-yo blitz?
The yo-yo, I mean, she's an idol, lore-wise, I think,
Yeah,
right?
true. Sort of. Well, Hawk, you're drifting away from the point. Look at the look at the picks rather. We got the Hilda, we got the Eve, and the Harrods, of course. They're gonna be dancing around in the RWM. So I like the draft coming in from Light Cavalry so far. They need a lot of CC coming in towards their jungle as well as their roam position. So I feel like they got to go for the fighter jungle route. But at the same time, if you take a look at Birthright, they have the Suyo for the early snowball, the Beatrix for the mid to late game, and also the snowball if it gets going. And they give my lobby the Phoveus again. I feel like they're just giving them comfort picks right now, but they realize that take away the Hayabusa, take away the Alpha. The Sicilian is not going to be in the hands of Danny anymore. And I feel like right now it's got to be the Aurora being banned out, but they banned the Tigreal instead. So Danny has the Aurora. Danny can also really go for the Farsa. I wouldn't expect that, but also the Valentina's available.
Yeah. I'd say Valentina's a better pick. You can take that real world manipulation to yourself, and it would help you so much alongside the Phoveus, right? Aurora, I mean, it's kind of a risk pick because with Aurora, I think you would get outranged by the Eve, outpoked as well. There is the Valentina, as you mentioned, is obviously the better pick here against the Eve and against the Hilda, since you're able to get out as well, dash out. And it's just, I mean, mage picks are usually tricky, right? There are a lot of mages on the table you can decide and pick from. I mean, right now on the table, we still have the farmers open that could have worked. Vixana is also a choice into out-rotating the Eve potentially, but Valentina just works best thanks to her IMU. And right now, the Kufra with the Ling, and this is quite the unusual pick here, seeing Kufra so like free like picked here. I don't think Kufra was the best of choices.
Yeah, I'm not liking the Kufra. The Ling would have worked, but the Kufra fits the build. They need a lot of CC right now, and you get that in the form of the Kufra. One of the, if I'm not wrong, probably the hero that has the most CC in the game, at least in terms of tanks. But right now, he is a complete ball of CC, crowd control in the form of the Tyrant's Revenge, the Rage, of course, the bouncing ball, preventing them from dashing in and out. But the reply from the other side, we've seen a chip being picked up twice. 0%. Was that right, Hockey? Was that a 0%?
Well,
Was that 10%?
I think that was a zero. No, that was
0%.
yeah,
It can't
zero.
be 10% because two
Yeah,
picks,
it's a two.
no wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0% win rate. But
Wait,
it seems like
but there
Birthright
was
might
no
pull it off.
Chip wasn't even in the first match. It was a bug in the graphic.
Yeah, it was a bug.
Yeah, he was. I mean, I think he traveled on the first match to let us know he's gonna be in there somehow. And yeah, I mean, it could be. You know, he can make portals here and there. He just came from there.
Chip could be the difference maker. Trying to tilt the tides in towards the side of Birthright with that shortcut. Of course, the tides in towards the side of Birthright with that shortcut. Of course, turning a 1v1 into a 1v5. You always want to get that numbers advantage when you have the chip. Alongside my lobby, who's going to be a problem with this Phoveus, and of course the clean side of my lobby, who's going to be a problem with this Phoveus, and of course the cleanup crew in the form of Levi's Studio. So yeah, I'm for these. They got just because like Harry got everything mixed up. I'm just questioning. Did Birthright do something? No, they did not. So at this point,
this is 3-0 here. I mean, I quite like the team play coming in from Birthright, and having the chip makes that team play strengthen even more because they need a lot of synergy to play with that chip, right? On the side of Light Cavalry, they do have the draft here. I mean, they have a really good draft, one that can potentially out-rotate Birthright if they're able to get around the chip, right? But at the same time, once again, I've said it many times, I think it comes down to execution. But generally here, looking just from looking draft, just on paper, I feel like Birthright has this for the 3-0.
yeah, definitely Birthright will have it, and I feel like so far it's just a matter of time. It's all, of course, it's game number 3, folks, that we're gonna get into right now in this best of 5 lower bracket final. Birthright versus Light Cavalry PH, and all PH team versus Birthright, who are coming in from the side of Spain, of course. And it feels like this game is gonna be a blast because Creve already get it started, and Mark trying to get that poke going down. It is a 2-0. Will Light Cavalry be able to make that miracle comeback with their reverse sweep, or will Birthright just make it a 3-0 and go into the grand finals?
I mean, we've seen that miracles many times, right? It could happen again. I mean, we've seen it with Extremist Lands here at 7, but are we going to see it with Light Cavalry against one of the strongest teams we know of right now, which is Birthright? And that might be unlikely, but it's not a 0%. And it looks like the poke here onto Danny is a bit too much, but once again, he knows he can poke in and out cleanly.
Yeah, and also Levi not opting to go for the tough boot, goes for the magic shoes and says wants to get that cooldown reduction early on, getting that level 3 power spike with that soul sever combo with the blade surge might be the difference maker. Danny already getting poked out means the rotation is definitely in the favor of the side of Light Cavalry, but with Malfurion being a stationary target, doesn't want to really rotate around the map unless he gets the vision from Can't Find Bien as well as Creve. So it's been a stalemate of an early game. But it
for the upcoming objective, knowing that he's gonna be a bit too late here for the turtle, and looks like they are cooking something as Vian goes in aggressively here with the Cyclops Eye, but looks like he almost gets taken eye. There it is coming in. Leandro has a Tempest Blade, but doesn't have the blue buff, and he's trying to go for something, but unfortunately misses a sword. And he's still going for more here, going in for Sign, but nah. Leandro, unfortunately, a bit too slow here. The Sunfish doesn't even connect, and he's just taking down here for the first blood by the hand of Mark and my lobby.
Yeah. Mark getting that first blood means that the chip will be able to get a little bit more sustain items faster, but the problem is Leandro on a Ling won't be able to scale up to the point that he wants to, and that will be the problem for the side of Light Cavalry. And you can see already on the back foot, Mark playing quite aggressive. Alan stole away that gold crab, however. That's good gold in his pocket, but Krieve just making sure to mirror Mark the entire time. But what he doesn't realize that it could turn into a 2v5 or a 1v5 whenever Mark feels like it. He does have the portals to make the rotation a little bit faster, even though the cooldowns were really bad. Right now, after the nerf, the goal lead in the favor of Birthright around 600. Not so much, but it could get away, and Light Cavalry could let it slip if they get the hands on the right target. Or the side of Birthright, and Levi is looking for that snowball hockey, but on the bot side, they're looking to take the trade.
Looks like they are going in for the trade as 5-man pull through, but nice. Escape coming in from V and making sure he doesn't get caught here off guard. He's going. He tried to go into the portal there, I think, but apart from that, looks like the flicker coming in with the Titan's Revenge here on the top side, alongside the backup coming in from Leandro, and there it is, a Tempest of Blades, but Alan with the Zaman Force
Levi
through, and what a catch coming in from Levi. He knows his stuff on the Suyu, still going for more as the Soul Siver takes in the double kill, and he said, no, we're not gonna go down without nothing, and make sure his team comes out positively.
Yeah, Levi just realized, waited for the best opportunity, the ultimate
Sure, he needs to apply on the Ling, not giving him the comfort zone he needs, but now making sure that the Ling gets his farm. Will he be trading towers for that? And there it is, a Purify coming in from Danny, and the real manipulation counteracting that. And there it is, Mark taking out Leandro, still looking for more as Urukai finds Vian actually. And there it is, Valkyrie is taken out by my lobby. The Zaman Force coming through, but not even a Chrono Dash can get him out of that sexy triple kill coming in from the man himself, Urik on the Beatrix.
Yeah, right now, Urek on the Beatrix has been dominating for the side of Birthright. Urek, an absolute monster, has the Malefic Gun, building towards the Blade of Despair right now. And I feel like at this point, Light Cavalry are scrambling, looking for any possible advantage that they can get around the map. And that's why Leandro goes in towards the bot side to get the clear on the wave. He does have the Berserker's Fury, building in towards the Haas's Claws for some sustain. But guess what? While you're building all of that, Birthright are taking more objective, more control around the map. The map is starting to look a little bit more red compared to blue, and seems like Leandro's a target on the bot side.
Looks like Leandro might be in trouble, but just flies away from there. I mean, the BOD has been just picked up from the hands of Urik, and Mark, he's just sitting there. He's waiting. He knows, Leandro, hey, I'm not gonna let you go, right? And he's doing that perfectly well, and also keeping sure he's keeping in balance that he plays with the team as well. Pressures everyone equally, but especially.
It's like a magic trick. They apply pressure on towards the lane, steal away your purple buff, and Leandro right now is just a broke man.
He is a broke man indeed. The only money he can get is those side lane minions, but apart from that, he can't really do much. He can't fight, he can't engage, all he can do is just farm and run. It's like a game of hide and seek, but looks like they seek the target they're looking for, and there it is, Leandro taken out once again by Urik, and it looks like his hiding spot wasn't really the best this time.
It really wasn't, was it? They forced him to use that Tempest of Blades because they realized that, yes, he can come in with the Finch Boy, steal away the Lord, but that was a beautiful Dark Wave coming in from my lobby to make sure he catches him while he's on top of the wall on the Finch Poise. But right now, they have the advantage. Birthright, the only kill they gave away was the first blood. Can't find Vienna, is in the middle of a fight.
Shortcut coming through, and there it is, the Tyrant's Rage! But unfortunately, they don't have the farm, they don't have the money, but Urek is shut down here by Malfury, and looks for the side of Birthright. They're starting to retreat, knowing that they don't have the one and only Beatrix, but they're still looking for more. They said, psych, never mind, we have Levi on our team, we have Mark, we have that chip, and they're still looking for more My Lobby. They don't need Urek here, they just know they're that ahead in the game, you know, stopping Grieve here and making sure they try to look for an end, but I don't think they have to push for it, so never mind, it's only just Vian, and I think they're able to end as they taunt here, and this, ladies and gentlemen, might be the end of Light Cavalry Philippines as we speak right now, and there it is. Wait
no
for
way
it.
they just no way they botched that. No way. About to say no way they botched that, right? It was a clean game that came in from the side of Birthright, of course, for the doubters who doubted it, for the haters who hated it. You got you can do whatever you want. You still watch the game, and you witnessed the victory of Birthright in a 3-0 clean-cut fashion, Scared Yet. It was clean, it was disciplined, and we're all in the Hunger Games putting up the three fingers. But at the same time, I just feel like that shows the level of the upper bracket finals versus Extremely Slay, and the competition and the competitive spirit they showed against Birthright there. And I think after that game, Birthright felt like they could beat anybody.
I kind of agree, because Birthright, with the way how they displayed their gameplay today, it is very different from what they were doing yesterday against Extremely Slay itself, right? They were too focused on single-ended draft, constantly prioritizing just one type of role and then trying to arrange the other pieces of the jigsaw. But today, it just seemed like they knew what picture they had to paint. It's just that what colors they want to use was something that Light Cavalry had to guess, and they could not guess even a single one, right, Hockey?
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't really get a single one. I think Light Cavalry was not prepared for what Birthright was cooking, right? And even though Light Cavalry, they are a strong team. Let's not forget that, right? They were one of the strongest, but I think this is a Birthright era we're talking about here.
We'll have to see, because definitely it's a Birthright era, and at the same time we'll have a look at who the MVP was for the previous game, who definitely started his own era in this entire game as well. Guess what? That's Levi on the Suyu. Man was legitimately being an Ackerman, killing out all the titans out there in the form of Light Cavalry Chronos.
Yeah, not only that, it's just the fact that how they control the map, how they know which team fight to pick, where to apply pressure, which wound is exposed for the side of Light Cavalry, and just pressing down on that particular wound to make sure they bleed them out entirely. Because if you look at Light Cavalry, they had no answer. It just felt like a game where they couldn't really do anything. Allen had the space early on in the top side to create an opening, but unfortunate for him, Urek just had the support when his team needed it. And over here, you can see, again, with this Amon Force trying to dash around, the Dark Wave is just too much for them to deal with. Without the damage dealers to clear out the Lord, I don't really know what Light Cavalry were expecting, because Krieve is there, provides the CC, but with the Kufra, when you want to dive in, and if you're the only form of a CC, you're looking for a super set, right? You're not just looking for a normal set, you're looking for a super set, and you don't get that. And I'm not talking about the ones that you get in the hit in the gym. I'm talking about the ones that where you catch about 5 men in that Tyrant Revenges, and they are just too mobile around the map, really turn the fight around.
It's the thing, you know, the main idea behind what they really needed to do versus what ended up happening was the fact that I genuinely feel that since Reborn TZ was not playing with the team and Alan normally plays in as the main roamer, it kind of came down to the coordination issue. Because let's be honest, when team wanted to engage, that was the time when Alan was really not there. Even in that very last fight, right before the Lord hit down that mid inhib, I think so. At that point, Krieve and Malfurion were the last two guys standing trying to fight in that kill box, as Krieve landed a big Tyrant's Rage. into Malfurion's real world manipulation. At the same time, Alan was just not there. I believe, I guess he just respawned at that point, or maybe he was just not present in the time of fight. And once Creeve retreated, Malfurion's RWM timer went off. Then Alan jumped in to try and dash around a bit into his own Zaman force. Now that things really do not happen in that manner, right? That's the big problem coming in. We can see in the statistics itself, Hockey, 44% damage dealt by Malfurion.
Yeah. I mean, Malfurion is just doing pretty exceptionally well, poking constantly here. But yeah, like you mentioned, right, I think they had some communication issues since they were changing players often, especially in the series and the one before that. So I think their communication level weren't really timed, weren't really that well. And it unfortunately led to them losing against Birthright. I mean, it's like against playing against consistent team with a team that you're constantly changing players, and I don't think that worked out pretty well for them. Did it?
I kind of agree. And at the same time, Kronos, I think so this pick of a Valentina was actually really solid, because the idea for Light Cavalry was to fight in a kill box, and they were kind of drafting like that itself, apart from the Link pick and the Kufra pick, I'll have to say that. Apart from these two picks, their idea was to fight in the kill box. I know. I had the same reaction when I saw the Link being picked up and then Kufra as the last pick. I was like, why Kufra in this case? But okay, we're not gonna pounce on that fact too much. But the Valentina pick, that too, if I'm not wrong, the second picking phase for Birthright is what really just shook the foundations of Light Cavalry, because now Valentina took the RWM for themselves, and their composition was a much better one for the kill box with the Suyu into the mix, and then you're adding the Beatrix as well. You've got a good amount of crowd control in the form of Phobius. So you are caught in that RWM, you're not gonna survive that. So I think that's where Birthright actually, just plays that trump card over the Ace of Hearts.
I yes and no. Yes and no. Yes, because about the latter half of what you said. No, for the first half, I would say Ling was the worst pick in the game. It made sense to a certain extent just because of the fact that you could dive into the back line, you have a split push capability, you're looking for the late game power spike, especially around the RWM, to create a team fight of your own and then try and dominate and just be the cleanup that they need, because in the RWM, you're slowing them down, dishing out the damage. With the Zaman Force, you're slowing them down even further. Ling just has to come, clean up shop, call it a day, and Light Cavalry would have run away with the game. But for the side of Birthright, of course, it was absolutely impeccable to pick up this Valentina, because it's not a hard counter to any of the heroes, but it's a soft counter to many. And being a soft counter to many is better than being a hard counter to one, in my opinion, because you get to play around with the fact that you have the double dash, you have a lot of CC, you can steal away powerful ultimates on the other side, and not and really mobile enough not to get caught out in a 1v1 situation. So even against an assassin, you have the option to outplay. You have enough burst damage in towards the mid to late game phase. So going up close and personal against a Yve, even taking away the RWM, would definitely make the difference. And I feel like it was a very well thought out, methodical draft for the side of Birthright, and strategically organized gameplay that came in all three games, where it felt like.
But What's up, Blackjack? How are you doing, my man? Welcome back on the interview desk. How are you feeling becoming the finalist after a long journey?
Yeah, nice to see you again. Yeah, we feel really, really, really fine right now.
I mean, I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it because we saw that upper bracket matchup, right? And I really want to ask you, what was the morale of team after that such a close series of a 3-2? You guys went down to the lower bracket then. So what was the team feeling like after that 3-2 defeat?
Well, of course, anyone's want to lose. You're gonna feel bad, but we are a team. So if we lose, no matter what, we're gonna try to we're gonna try to get a meet, to talk each other. We're gonna try to fix the problems. We're gonna try to come back stronger, because this is what a real team do. We are not just a group of players that just meet to get a tournament, flaming each other, and finally disband. No, not we don't work like this.
We really appreciate that, to be honest, because seeing the regrowth of the team and the resurgence of a team, that's what all the fans out there love. So really appreciate that. But at the same time, now I want to ask you, what was that Sicilian pick in every single game yesterday?
Well, what's the plan? What's the plan? Just what's the plan? We thought it's okay. There's no problem, but like you see, we can play. Of course, our mid lane can play every match, so we have no problem. But well, the Sicilian yesterday didn't have a bad performance at least.
Yeah. I mean, I agree to that, but at the same time, in different compositions, you sometimes want an Aurora to put that constant crowd control, or you sometimes want something like a Vexana, maybe Valentina, but you guys just prioritize Sicilian in every game. And I was like, I mean, yeah, I understand the team is doing really good. Danny is doing amazing on that, but come on, so show me something different. That's what all of us were like at that time. But yeah, I mean, really well played.
Yeah, we want to improve Sicilian win rate on competition.
All right, I get it. You still won 2 games after that, so and it kind of put the pressure on the minds of light cavalry themselves, because they've, if I'm not wrong, stole over the Sicilian in the first game, right?
Yeah, they picked Sicilian, but it's fine for us. We was preparing for it. We got a good contest for him, so no problem. We were preparing that matches since yesterday with too much effort. Just the players taking a break. Of course, I was working with the rest of the players on to plan the matches of today, and finally we did it good. We did good.
We are really excited to see that matchup, and everyone is predicting that it will probably go all the way to the 7 games. So we can clearly see the improvement of the team, and that's one thing we all love. But at the same time, when you first met Light Cavalry in the upper bracket in playoffs, you won them 3-2, but this time you just clean sweep them 3-0. So what was the idea behind that? How did you bring in such a big difference in team's performance? Or was that Light Cavalry's Reborn TZ not playing that kind of made some changes?
Well, we didn't know the reason why Reborn TC wasn't playing the game, but finally I think that it doesn't matter, because maybe we got on a 3-2 on our previous match, but we used that information. I'm gonna spend the hours that it's needed to study the enemy, and the next time that we're gonna face, we're gonna get a better plan if we have faced them before. So I think that probably teams have to get more focus on to study enemies previous the matches. That's the point, and of course, getting a good environment inside the team. Don't get down, and that's the key, I think.
I mean, that kind of uplifting and motivating ideology is probably one of the reason why your team is one of the favorites to win the tournament and is again in the grand final. So, now there are a few people who want me to spice things up. So, as an Indian, we really love spices. Tell me one thing. Even though Malfurion and Vian lost in the qualifiers, right? They received a second chance to play together with Light Cavalry PH in the playoffs. Yet they encountered defeat. So do you think that Malfurion and Vian are kind of washed players and they should look at something different now?
Maybe yeah, maybe yeah. I think
I
he have to get in my opinion he have to improve champion pool or hero pool.
I guess. Yeah, and understandable, right? Hero pool is like one of the most important thing whenever you jump into the draft itself. So I agree on that fact. And how are you guys feeling now? You defeated an all European roster, or all Filipino roster, right? It's a European tournament, but LC had the full Filipino roster. And do you think that they were kind of arrogant with their team selection? That they did not pick a European player because Filipino have got that reputation that their micro is supreme. They've got that ego in them that we are the better players, we're the best region of MLBB. So do you think that is the reason why they picked up an all Filipino roster?
I have been working with especially with Filipino coaches, including other regions, and I think that they get a good vision of the game. Of course, Philippines is the best region of the world, in my opinion. But maybe the Pinoys teams that we got in Europe probably have to put more effort onto have a real team, to support each other, the players, and put more effort on that. Not only on to ranks games, on improve your win rate. That's kind of thing is fine. You improve your mechanics are fine, but sometimes the key is to get on a strong and a solid team. Not only playing too much scrims or too much ranks are the key. Sometimes getting a good environment is the key.
I agree. Getting the good environment is the key, and I can see that environment at Birthright is at its peak, man. It's spraying there, and I really hope and I wish you all best of luck for the grand finals, Blackjacks. I hope this is not the last time we're meeting. Hopefully, you'll win.
Can I say something before go?
Of course.
Okay, I want to say hello to the pro drafters of the chat that are eliminated or not playing the tournament, but I'm happy that they see us. are so funny, pro drafter of chat.
Beautiful, my man, beautiful. Because I was about to ask you any message for anyone out there, but you've already given that. Thank you so much for that, Blackjack. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the very best for the grand finals. And now, ladies and gentlemen, again, put your hands together for Blackjacks, the coach of Birthright, who are the team now in the grand finals facing Extremely Slain. There's best of 7 series. Now, this was the first thing. Let's call upon the second surprise of the evening. Let's call in our caster desk for the grand finals, guys. They are all the way spread out throughout the globe. We've got Private Dancer on the floor with G the Aiko and the man Kronos himself. Boys, how are you doing? It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with all of you. But Private, what happened to your beard?
Well, I saw I had some stiff competition here from a lot of the European casters here with the lovely beards that you guys have been sporting. I realized I didn't have a chance, so I went ahead, took that off here. It'd be nice, fresh, and clean for you guys here at the Grand Finals here. It's an honor and a pleasure. A little bit of a North American invasion here. You guys left the back window open. We snuck in to see what's going on here on the other side of the world.
I mean, it's a pleasure to be here with you, man. And you're actually looking pretty cool. Aiko, you've got a beautiful smile up your face right now. How are you feeling for this grand finals?
You know what it is. It is. Hey, not only I kind of what Private said is that it's 2v2 now. We got 2 North Americans in here and then two Europeans in here now. You know, so we're kind of we're invading. But it's good. It's great to see Birthright come up from the lower bracket. To be honest, it was what I initially predicted yesterday, and I mean it was wild that they just 3-0'd them. And I already know that this grand finals is going to be absolutely amazing.
I 100% agree. And Private, I know you hopped in yesterday as well. How excited are you for this grand finals itself, seeing how these European teams play?
Yeah, I saw yesterday. Went to a best of 5, and then today you've got the kind of hunger in Birthright right now, so much that they just completely swept their opponents under the rug right now, and they're ready, they're willing, and they're able here. So I'm really excited to see this go. And possibly, I think everybody's in agreement. This will possibly go the distance.
You know, every single one is saying this will go the distance, and now I actually fear, what if it does not? Kronos, and I'm gonna say that you will be the reason for that curse. But you know what? Before I hop on to you, I know you want to talk about the entire playoffs itself, so we're gonna give you the chance. Let's have a look at the playoffs bracket as well, ladies and gentlemen, and see the journey of this team, these teams. Kronos, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, taking a look, of course, to give a little bit of a highlight, Private, Aiko, you've been here, you know the story, is just the fact that CNQ as well as Light Cavalry got seeded directly into the playoffs thanks to their performance in the MEC Season 3. They were the finalists, and of course, Extremely Slay making their run from the online qualifiers from a double elimination bracket with 64 teams, made it to the wild card where Birthright were already placed just because of the top 4 finish in the MEC. And then coming all the way, beating Revolution, beating CR7, some of the big name teams, beating